All right, more offering going. So there's two basic routes that can start here within an SMZ3 combo randomizer raise. Sorry, they will either go right down towards Retro Bryn area, or they're going to take the one of the four Link to the Past to Super Metroid combo warp points and head right into Link to the Past. And with 30 items, generally the play that would be made is going right to Link to the Past, which is what Osse and Hitaka are going to do here. So yeah, it's going to be the same seed for all 7 racers. Going to be the same seed based on the channel, everything like that. They're essentially all racing at the same time, just broadcast on 2 different channels. We see a little bit of route divergence here. We see Osse electing to go ahead and take a look at that max tier tree pull that he's going to get from going through the warp portal. And Hitaka is actually electing to go to Sync first, and he's going to go for a Houlihan play for early repeat. Big reason why Houlihan is kind of viable in SMZ3 is you don't get a lot of bomb drops. This is running on V29 logic for Link to the Past, so V30 made the change to take away all the bomb capacity upgrades that you saw on Osse's screen there. And what that does is, what it did was add a lot more arrow and bomb drops to the shuffles. So, going to, say, Kakariko without bumps from a crab or a triple wasn't as debilitating as it is now. We did see Osse get a first pack of power bombs too, which is really nice at Uncle. Hitaka should grab those as well through how he routes. It just depends on when he hits up Uncle. And Osse actually going for the same play here. He's going to be setting up his Houlihan now. Meanwhile, Hitaka's going to go ahead and utilize the south right here. So if he's committing to a Houlihan, I expected this just to kind of get a couple of bombs here, and he'll be able to buy bombs now throughout the south loop. What it's going to do is save him about 30-40 seconds of dead travel in Kakariko, so it's a good play. But he's also going to blind check race game, which is quite interesting. Me personally, I probably like to use that one bomb on Chicken Coop, but if race game has something, then it'd be great. And yeah, just a piece of love. So he'll grab it. I mean, he committed the time for it. Osse going Hylia. He's going to go to the Hylia shop to buy bombs. What this tells me is he can go for the early Sash Cave check. Or not. I'm not sure why he would have committed the time there, but it is what it is. He's going to go now to Link's house. Maybe South Shore early. It was kind of off-putting. I was wondering what he was going to do there, but yeah, he's going to go South Loop here. He's going to go ahead and check out the dam and potentially South Shore. Meanwhile, Hitaka utilizing that south route into Kakariko, and he's kind of going through the motions now. Going to check the back of Tavern. He will be able to buy bombs here at the shop right next to it and continue on through Chicken Coop, Well, and Blind's Hut. So nothing really going on both our player screens. Osse kind of going through the well, gonna chain that into Moldorm Cave. Taka right now into well. Gets an E-Tank, which is nice early on, but really not a whole lot going on. Ooh, we get a shovel and morph. Moldorm caves. That's pretty nice, and especially with the early peebs that Ossie's been able to score. He does have an option to route in Super Metroid early, but I imagine he goes to Kakariko first. And on the other side of the coin, we do get a Power Glove from Hitaka, more rupees. That's Zora in Logic. And he has the cash to spare to be able to afford him, so that's nice. It also puts back 3 in Logic right now. And with the early morph, it's going to allow him to potentially sequence break to Death Mountain and utilize one of the warps there as well to get to the business center in Norfair for kind of a little bit of a better route towards Crades. So we'll see how these guys kind of play that out. And he gets another pack of peebs, so he actually might just go right to SM. He's thinking about it too. He is thinking about it. Yep, he's gonna go there. Okay. Hitaka getting his sword in the Thieves' Hideout as well in Lost Woods, which is quite nice. Oh, he's got 15 power bombs. That's nice. Me personally, I probably want at least a pack of supers before I dip in here, just because I would want to loop in Bryn Loop, and supers are very handy to have in a multitude of those rooms. But chances are he will run into some. It's a little bit of a risk, especially since he hasn't done Kakariko. I don't recall seeing supers either on Hitaka's screen through Kakariko as well yet, but it could happen. And we see a Master Sword on Lumberjacks. Me personally, as a runner, I don't like seeing that. Just because it's like you're never doing Aghanim for swords, so it just opens up another thing you have to find, and then it becomes a game of balance of what do you want to do more? Would you rather do Aghanim burn 4 minutes, or do you want to check locations for 4 minutes and hope you run into a sword before then? So that could be very tricky for our runners. We'll have to see where the other sword placements become. So not a whole lot going on in the back 3. We do get the key though, so we know that there's a high chance that there will be something at Dark Cross. But the players do not have the lamp yet, so it is not in Logic. Ooh, and we get another sword there. So there we go. So they're fine on swords. Okay, good. So Ossie finding the sword here in Terminator means that, guess what? We're not going to have to do Aghanim now. That will not be required. At least yet, that we know of. We got nothing going on at Bomb Trezo either. Now, is Ossie going to 230? Has he checked that yet? Okay, he's just going to get this out of the way. So now, with him doing 230 here, he has 2 options. He can go back to Link to the Past and check out Kakariko first. I think that's recommended because he doesn't have supers. He gets a bottle, so I don't think Hitaka have one yet either. He could. I mean, he could go to Link to the Past now. He could go to Retro Bryn. You don't require any supers there, but I prefer. Yeah, he's gonna go back to Link to the Past now and challenge Kakariko probably. I think that's the smart play, especially finding that bottle. It's gonna give him a little bit of an early edge to an extra check that potentially the other runners have not been able to do yet. Alright, so Hitaka's making his way through the Zelda escape portion of Link to the Past. Typically, one of the first sequences you'll see when you play the vanilla game. So he's going to go ahead and check out, see what's left in here. He's already checked the back 3. Wasn't a lot of worth, so he just wants to be safe and check off the remainder. Osse is starting his Kakariko route. He's going to follow it up with a Lumberjack check to start. A bit of a safe play. He's going to see that Master Sword there, but he knows he's going to be fine once he drops down and get that Master Sword at Thieves' Den. And I don't believe we've seen the map yet on Hitaka's side. I could be wrong, but if we don't, and he gets an items here from Zelda's Cell, then he doesn't have to go through the Dark Cross here without a lamp. So he'll probably just action that and execute. And there's the Master Sword for Osse. So he's gonna be happy with that, seeing that sword or that Master Sword on Lumberjacks. And Hitaka does get the map at Zelda's Cell, so he's gonna Death Warp and check out Dark Cross now.
Yo, Solsky, how's it going today, dude?
Well, if it isn't Mr. Late, what's going on, Maniacal?
Oh man, I could tell you a story, but I'm not gonna. And instead, I'm just going to say stuff happened and my computer was not cooperative. And catch me up on this one. For anyone just joining, Solsky's going to tell us what's going on.
So, pretty boring so far. Nothing too much happening. We got our early morph here in Moldorm Cave. We did get a shovel there as well. You're about to see Glove on Osse's side here in the blind side, but other than that, swords are known. We know where Tempered is now on Osse's side. It is at Lumberjacks. Other than that, it's pretty unknown. Oh yeah, and of course that sweet Spazer at the back of blind side.
Okay, it looks like we've seen Escape and CAC and Lost Woods type stuff. Have we seen South Shore yet and Eastern?
Yeah, we've seen South Shore, so that's where that morph was again at Moldorm Cave. We see an E-Tank too in Dark Cross here from Hitaka, but Osse actually went into SM early after getting the morph, and he had 15 peeps, so he did looked like he did gauntlet check, and he found a bottle, I believe, at Terminator's, so he's going to be able to check out that at Sakid.
Yeah, that'll be something to watch. Thank you for catching me up, and sorry again about the issues in getting here.
That's all good. And Osse actually picking up his first pack of supers, that was probably what was keeping him away from Burn Loop.
Yeah, I've had a couple of those where I've gone Bryn Loop without supers, or also even Upper Norfair without supers, and it's a rare seed where that happens, but like, you don't want to do that again.
Yeah, for sure.
Let's see, it looks like Hitaka's just making that South Shore play that we've seen from Osse, or that y'all have seen from Osse, and Osse's just following Hitaka through CAC, so not too much going on. It seems like the early sphere is pretty empty on this one. I mean, there's good stuff, but nothing really driving me anywhere. Do you push over into Super Metroid and do that Bryn Loop with those supers, or?
I mean, not right now. There's still a lot of options in Link to the Past I would like to execute first, especially with the glove and sequence break scenarios, and they got so many rupees that Zora could become a factor. I'd probably look towards at least doing Sash first, maybe pushing Eastern, and then definitely breaking and doing like Crate first through Death Mountain, just with the lamp, with that lamp.
Okay, so I don't know if I do that Death Mountain break, but I definitely agree with you on the Eastern play. Like, do Eastern Sash, just get that Sphere 0 out of the way, see if there are any clues. And have we seen the dig spot yet?
We have not.
I guess both runners with the shovel. We'll see when Osse gets over there. I suppose he'll probably dig it and see what we get. But yeah, like you said, with the glove already and all those rupees, we might see Hitaka just walk down here from Ice Rod Cave and just go right for that fake flipper.
It's a tough play just because they have so much of SM already open. So they have to weigh that whole kind of time commitment of, do I want to spend about a minute and a half only getting 2 of the items, because you're only going to get the Scout Azor's Ledge. You're not going to be able to check out Waterfall. You're going to have to route that back in somehow. So I think, yeah, and that's what he's going to do. He's going to leave that for now.
See, I was thinking, you also get Hobo with it. It's pretty slow, but I can see pushing it just because Zora is in Logic, and that's one of those ones that's going to be out of the way for a while unless they find Mirror and can double it up with sort of that Northeast Dark World stuff. Well, looks like we're getting Eastern Sash out of Hitaka, so this is going to be some new information. Which I know you've been over it, but with 6 players in this 7-player tiebreaker race, we're only getting to see 2 of them, but there are 4 more going right now over on Speed Gaming, and so it'll be interesting to see how much divergence there is kind of across the whole set of runners.
Yeah, definitely. So the tiebreaker is essentially a game of don't be last. And we do have a 7th runner that was unable to do it just because he had to go to GDQ early. So, we don't know his result, so we're just gonna kind of call this live and see how it goes. But yeah, basically, last place will not make it to the brackets in this tiebreaker race.
Yeah, which, I mean, because it's a 7-way race, I don't know. I was thinking about how I would approach this as a racer. And I would play this a lot like I play the weeklies, I think, to be honest. Like, I think each runner is going to come in, play their game, and trust that their game is good enough, rather than try to, like, metagame what their opponents are doing, which is a little bit of what you might get in, like, a 1v1, where you're like, okay, I know my opponent tends to make or not make this check, and so you might be able to do something like that in a head-to-head match that you can't do in this sort of a matchup. And Hitaka on his way to Gauntlet, so I guess we'll be finding his sword in his bottle. Well, maybe not his bottle, depending on when he does 230 missiles, but I mean, eventually his bottle. But he's thinking about something. Okay, waiting on the acid.
Yeah, he unfortunately missed one of the waves, so he had to spend a little bit more time, or else he would have taken like over 100 energy just taking an acid bath.
And obviously get immediately punished by any tank.
I was gonna say, he would have just got right back.
Yeah, the game has a funny sense of humor about things like that, where like as soon as you decide to play it safe, it gives you the safety that would have corrected for it immediately.
Yeah, and I think that's just one of my beefs. I see a lot of players just like play Gauntlet way too safe, and they don't want to spend the 30 energy just to like lose one of those cycles off the lava. I think it's like it's a really good idea. It just saves so much time in the long run. And we see Morph Bombs in Eastern Palace first chest on Osse side, so he's gonna be happy about that. That's his Campfly now. So yeah. Immediate thing it's gonna open up for him, at least in kind of the now, is top right of ship Peebs right at the start point.
Yeah, that's one of those ones that's easy to forget if you leave it for later, kind of as a singleton check. You can do it on your way out of wrecked ship, but very often you want to do going down Red Tower, and so you just don't get to landing site all that often, even though you reset to it. Sometimes it can just, slip off the radar. So that's one of those ones that I like to knock out on one of my first trips to Super Metroid that it's in Logic. We'll see how far he carries this Eastern play. I suspect probably through the Dark Rooms. He's got 4 hearts and a sword, so it's not too difficult. And there's another bottle at early supers under the bridge. He'll be able to get his, 10 arrows from Sick Kid, I think it was? Yeah, 10 arrows.
Yeah, it was.
And really, really healthy on Hitaka's side so far. Multiple E-tanks showing up.
Yeah, 6 E-tanks for Bryn Loop is like extremely free. You do not fear anything with that many E-tanks early on.
Yeah,
It's
those
gonna
those
do
side
nice.
hoppers still deal 80, but like you just care a lot less.
Nice little quick drop there from Hitaka's side to get the bottle without having to waste time on bombing or power bombing.
Yeah, that's a good point. That is not a free trick. It's really nice execution. It's kind of a testament to how good the runners are at this game at this point. That like I just see that and I'm like, oh yeah, obviously that's the play. That's how you route that room.
Yeah, I mean it's essentially top 8 of the tournament right now, minus 2 players playing right now. So, or top 9, sorry. So I don't think you're gonna really run into a bad runner here, but they might have their spots. But yeah, this is gonna be high caliber for this race. It's very exciting.
Oh, for sure. I was just more commentating on the player base for this game in general. Just everyone's gotten so good, and these runners are especially a great highlight of it. Ice Rod, there in the big chest in Eastern.
I don't like getting that ice rod there. Um, it just seems like it'd be pretty free for me, but really, I definitely prefer a fire rod there for sure.
Oh yeah, I mean, I can't. I guess there are times where you prefer finding Ice Rod to Fire Rod, which is where you're in like the 2-rod go mode scenario, and you don't want Fire Rod to open up more locations for you. Like Fire Rod is like, okay, definitely continue your Turtle Rock dive looking for Ice Rod, and that always feels bad. But for the most part, especially early, Fire Rod's just got so much more utility as a fire source, like opening up like Hera Basement and other inconvenient things, or Back of Skull. Things that, you want to get done. You just, it's also faster, same damage, so you just want that fire rod. But nice IBJ here from Osse. He is going and immediately checking that Criteria Peebs spot, and another E-tank here for Hitaka. Bryn Loop is loaded with E-tanks. He's gonna have like 11 E-tanks when he's done.
He's gonna be so mad, dude.
That is pretty legit.
That's a pretty scummy Eastern, right? Getting your morph bombs for Campfly to get your bow behind the Campfly locked area. So we'll have to keep a lookout at where Space Jump and Speed are, which are the other tools in Logic to get to that location. But that's pretty that's really funny, actually.
Yeah, that's a pretty debated location there. Not what we were looking for. But at the same time, because you got your Canfly from exactly Eastern, you have to figure that a lot of other people get got by that, as long as you don't find Space Jump or Speed Booster in some conspicuous, easy, like, early skip. Like, if Zora gives Speed Booster, then you get pissed off. But, like, this, you're just like, okay, everyone gets scummed.
And that's the way I look at it, too, is anytime you kind of approach an advantage like that, like, getting that bow there, you look at it as an advantage, right? And the phrase I say on stream a lot is its value until it's not valuable anymore. And what makes it unvaluable is like time. It's your worst enemy. The longer or the shorter you are away from like you said, a speed or a space, that bow is like, and that bomb play is like really strong. But if we run into a free spacer or bomb, whatever, or sorry, space jump, then it diminishes it quite a lot.
Now we had Ice Rod and bombs in Eastern. Did we find the third item, or does Armos Knight have something?
I actually can't remember.
So if Armos Knight has something, Armos has a thing, Ms. Metroid's saying. So shout outs to Ms. Metroid doing the tracking. I am really tempted to like push that bow and just go knock out Armos Knights, get that crystal, pretty high priority. And I know that that's a less common play, but that's one of those things you have to do that's going to be slightly slower to do, but that can potentially milk that bow advantage, especially if Lamp shows up sometime soon.
Yeah, I don't think I chased without Lamp, just because, again, not in Logic yet. Because, like, we're looking for early Spear items right now. We're looking for the Pearl that Hitaka just found. We're looking for Dark Relaxes, such as the Titans or Hammer at this point. We're looking for maybe suits. So it would be good if we make that play and we break around Lamp to, say, a suit, say a hammer or glove that you weren't intended to get yet. But that's pretty much all I'd want from that play. If I get another item, I'm not really as pumped about to find, really. at that point, because I would have read it in Eastern anyways.
Yeah, with the amount of Super Metroid that's open, I definitely agree with staying in Super Metroid, but I was just thinking when I do go back to A Link to the Past, that's one of those things that I'm looking to push.
Mm-hmm.
Osse also, with his boatload of E-Tanks, is gonna just, like, ignore these B-Toms and just deboost off spikes and use his health as a resource to save time in Bryn Loop, which is really a good approach. That's one of the reasons I like to be really thorough in A Link to the Past early, is every little bit of extra convenience, ammo, energy, anything like that for Super Metroid that you get, just saves that much more time when you're doing these because of the, you know, the aggressive strats you can pursue. You know, you don't have to farm ammo or... Yeah, that's a funny one.
That's great. that was hilarious. So that's in logic for Osse, having the morph bombs. That is not in logic for Hitaka. So high jump in Bryn ceiling. That's definitely a top low location, I guess you would want to call it.
Yeah, it's a pretty good one. We'll see if Hitaka gets his mock ball or if he Nope, just not going for it. I was gonna say, once you get high jump boots, especially if you just got high jump boots, and oh, there's that in logic Dark World access. The hammer there at Billy Mays.
That's good.
So it's out of logic for Hitaka, but he'll hopefully find his bombs soon. Or did he go to Eastern? Did he get his bombs?
Hitaka didn't go to Eastern yet.
Yeah, he did Sash.
So that hammer is still in logic for Hitaka.
Yes.
But yeah, now they have Dark World access. That's good.
Yeah, Dark World access in logic.
It's all good. But yeah, that's more or less the play. I mean, it's honestly Rudder's position, their choice. It's how they're feeling. Are they stronger in SM or Link to the Past? It's kind of going to run through their head what they prefer to do. What presents the better route? So those are the questions that they're going to be asking themselves right now. Having 27-minute Dark World access and more to more or less do a couple more things in Super Metroid in or out of logic. Sorry.
Yeah, this is interesting. It really is kind of a runner's choice sort of scenario. Very open seed. Now the items that open the seed are kind of all over the place. So we'll see how long it takes all the runners to kind of piece that puzzle together. But like Blue Bryn for Hammer, that has to be something that Hitaka's viewing as an advantage right now.
Yeah.
And so we'll see. If I think that's one of my advantages, I kind of want to push, and Hitaka's thinking, okay, I'm not getting red mail today. Finding a mail upgrade at the Shaft Supers here. Osse with his Moon Pearl, but yeah, I mean, you have to think that hammer is an advantage.
This is why I hate that play, by the way, of scouting. It just takes so long, especially if the jumping slimes don't cooperate and are just jerks.
Yeah, I tried using a ball boost through that room the other day, and it was pretty effective, honestly. So I think that's what I'm going to do in a pretty vanilla scenario next time, because I'm really bad at the deboost off of those things.
Yeah, it's a tricky one.
But using a ball boost the same way that you do for like the crate exit, if you screw up the manip for the key hunter positions, like if you hit the door transition wrong, you can use the exact same ball boost philosophy on the little slimes and make it through just fine. We'll see if Osse's feeling early X-ray. He's been practicing this, so we might be seeing an early X-ray play. Whoop. Not that way, we're not.
Nah. This is
the beginning of this.
This is deboost, right?
Yeah, this is deboost X-ray. It's in logic to do X-ray, but not for him because of not having enough protection. But basically, you need to get this first jump, and it's pretty tricky.
I can't say I agree with going for it though,
because you need to get that ball boost so that you can get to these waivers and get that deboost. Because otherwise, the waiver cycle gets ahead of you. And now he's just going to use the waivers to try and take only waiver damage instead of the 60 from the spikes. Deboost back, jump, and deboost forward and across.
Nicely done, though. nicely done.
That beginning is probably the hardest part, but like that's a really nervous strat because it can just take tons of health if it goes wrong. Really nice play by Osse.
I don't agree with it in the context that there's a lot of worth here in Bryn, and like if he does risk his death, he's gonna have to commit to more or less full clearing again. So that's why I was like, you might not want to do this, but you know, he got an item out of the way. He doesn't have to worry about X-ray anymore. So I guess there's some time saves in there. But he's got to be careful here with his health. He's going to take a lot of damage off these spikes. So he's going to want to utilize those waivers. And there we go. Nice little morph there to kind of spare the extra damage from the spikes.
Yeah, I like the play a lot by Osse just because he's confident in that play. And what did Hitaka just find here?
Oh, he found a thing. The options are just expanded now greatly.
Yeah, I hate finding that item early.
Yeah. Moped strikes again, by the way. Having gravity suit, that's a nice early find. So that's gonna make Super Metroid. I mean, Hitaka's already on 7 E-tanks in reserve, but now he's got gravity. It's just super free. Like he's not gonna have to worry about damage for the rest of the game.
Yeah, and it also makes Wrecked Ship a much more palatable play. And so even without speed, he's going to be able to tear through a lot of this this Wrecked Ship content. And so I like going over here. I don't know if he was just checking the moat just to check it and then planning on going down Red Tower. But if he wasn't planning on going to Wrecked Ship, audibling to Wrecked Ship here seems really good.
Yeah, I've been actually incorporating that a lot in my routes lately too. Oh, wow.
Oh my.
Wow, the lottery dude gets speed in Wrecked Ship. That is huge. That is a key item that actually, like an Osse, would actually put him away from Wrecked Ships. That's a big advantage already for Hitaka here.
Yeah, if Hitaka finds anything else in Wrecked Ship for Super Metroid or A Link to the Past, you have to chase that. That's a massive advantage at this point.
That's like, oh, and we get Titans here on Osse's side. This is a good C, dude.
Welcome to Divergence. Holy crap.
What I think we're going to see on Hitaka's side is he's probably just going to take this down to Kraid at this point. He does have options to Dark Will because, again, he has Hammer Pearl and Glove. But I would want him to see either break that Death Mountain access and do Kraid from there into Meridia play, or he might just decide to take his chances and do Link to the Past. But I think that's a bad idea just because, again, you just found gravity and speed in like some really off locations. So I'm going to look for him to kind of challenge that.
Yeah, he's got a lot of Super Metroid movement right now, speed being the big piece, but speed plus high jump plus gravity. Like, I do full clear Wrecked Ship, then I'm going down Red Tower, and then I'm going Kraid and straight to Meridia.
And as we kind of had this conversation piece earlier, the scumbag speed, I guess, in Osse's side here is going to be that now he didn't need to make that double dip into Eastern, so Hitaka will win on that as well. He will run into his bow, and he's going to run into more bombs and Ice Rod pretty freely as well.
Yeah, that speed is at basically one of the worst possible locations.
Yeah.
And so, philosophically, when you find an item in a worst possible location, those are the things that, you know, suddenly become advantages when you find them early. And so that's why for Hitaka, I want to push this straight to Meridia. You know, I want to follow up as soon as possible, as deep in the logic as I can get with the items I've got to see where they go. We are already at 10 E-tanks plus, I think, 2 reserves.
So stupid, dude. It's so free. Like, anything they do, they're not worried. Like, if Osse wanted to, he can, like, full hell run, probably without a heal in Norfair, depending on his movement. Like, it's that brutal right now, having that many E-tanks this early.
I don't know. Ridley still takes a lot of health. Like, that's a long fight. You're going to need at least a Crystal Flash.
I'm talking about upper, dude, not lower. I would never
suggest that. Okay.
That's so, yeah, I would not suggest.
I want more before I do lower Norfair. Like, I want to see Screw Attack or
for
something,
sure.
You know?
Yeah, I honestly, in a run, I would not be happy if I had to hell run lower Norfair. A possibility if they are in a go minus Varia, but Still way too early to call that scenario.
Oh yeah, if this turns into a lower Norfair Hell run, I would actually feel really bad for all of the runners participating in this, because that's like a pretty strong Super Metroid bias
Yeah.
in a seed that otherwise has looked really balanced.
Well, what you would see is like you probably see some runners definitely go for it, and you see some maybe not going for it as well, depending on their comfort, what they have remaining, what locations they have open. Because for them, like the hell run is a time commitment as well, because like you have to factor in deaths, you have to factor in, like you said, crystal flashes, saves, everything like that. Again, Ridley, a big factor. And you might just see people go for it and say, I'm good. And you might see people that say, hey, I have all Meridia, I have all like a lot of Link to the Past. I'm just gonna check that stuff first, just in case.
Yeah, and that's the sort of thing that I personally don't want to see decide this race, is like people make a big decision like that, either commit or don't, and then the race is won or lost by whether someone's successful in that particular type of play, because that's such a corner case scenario. But so far, this being so open as it is, I'm enjoying seeing this route divergence. Both runners are doing entirely reasonable things given the information they have.
Mm-hmm.
That gravity to speed booster, though, that one has me sweating a little bit for Osse. But that bow, so if Hitaka was looking like he was setting up for the down red tower play, that bow could be really, really far off for Hitaka. If he doesn't route this in like post-wreck ship, that's going to be a big thing to watch.
I don't see him going down Red Tower and doing that with gravity, but we'll see. Just because, again, he has the option to sequence break Death Mount if you so chose. I think that would be the best play for him at this point. But we'll see how he challenges it.
So how do you route post-wreck ship? You go Criteria Power Bombs to Parlor, and then take the Parlor portal, go break Death Mountain, and just skip Red Tower for now?
So
do high jump boots
tough.
And then up to Kraid?
Yeah, it's tough right now. Like, what does Hitaka still have? He has top rated ship, obviously. He has Red Tower. He has X-Ray. X-Ray for him, he knows is non-logic. He might not challenge it, but I probably eat the extra elevator ride. I know you're not a fan of that, but I probably do that just to be a little thorough. And then option in top rated ship peeps into breaking that Death Mountain warp. Go Kraid up into Meridia at that point.
Okay, so you would dip the upper red tower for the extra with the extra elevator. Okay,
and you could leave it. You could do it after Meridia too, like if you wanted to. So you have that option to just skip it and do red tower after Meridia. But again, it's just preference.
Yeah, that's defensible using the intergame portals, and it looks like Hitaka is not going to even scout the reserve item. Is probably just going to go get whatever's there blind, which, I mean, provided he doesn't take like 11 hits from the spikes in bowling, then he's going to be fine to do that.
I mean, we saw him do this with race games, so I'm not surprised to see him do it with the speed boost locked wreck ship reserve location either.
Yeah, I usually scout wreck ship reserve, but I'm a huge proponent of early blind race game. Like, I will spend my last bomb on that. Also, upper wrecked ship in the ground delivering the Quake medallion. That could turn out to be a key piece of the puzzle here. I don't think we'll be finding out all that soon, though. So
I think you and I are not surprised, but Osse's not electing to go to wreck ship, and he's going to go right to Link to the Past. This is double bad for him. Is he likes it looks like how he routes just generally. He likes to make two plays. He likes to put off Retro Bryn. He likes to put off Wreck Ship, and both of those are really going to harm his routing right now.
I mean, both of those are generally really good decisions, but here they're going to be fairly punishing. Nice pendant distribution. Red Crystal Thieves pendants in Swamp and Skull for the red and blue, and green in Ice Palace. So that green pendant ice is always a little bit of a worry, but overall pretty good break. And I actually like what we're seeing Osse doing, because Skull is a pendant. He's going to go scout it right now without Fire Rod and just see if he can get those items and just get it out of the way. See if both items show up in front of the Fire Rod.
Alright, so Hitaka's now done wreck ship. We did not see another, like, I guess, valuable item other than speed, but really, getting early speed in SM before challenging stuff like Norfair and Meridia, it's so good for him. He's just going to bank a lot of time on that find. And the gravity, too. It's extra safety. He doesn't have to worry about, or he does, I guess, have to worry about an early Meridia challenge. We'll see how he does it. And it looks like he's going to go down to Red Tower here, too. So we'll see how, if he goes the extra elevator ride or if he just takes that straight down.
Yeah, this is a big decision juncture for Hitaka. This could really influence how this race plays out for him. Interesting that Osse has both items and is still checking locations here. I guess he wanted either the big key, small key, or map or compass there in Skull.
But yeah, it's pen and Skull, so I get you. I feel you.
Yeah, I mean, I guess if you decide to ever come back, you maybe want the small key there if you can get it, but I mean, it's not like you can't fire rod the Gibdo to get that key anyway, so I don't know. I disagree with that check. It probably was a muscle memory check, to be honest. I think Osse also disagrees with that check, in all fairness.
Probably.
But that otherwise was a great Skullwoods layout. Both the items right away. Getting his 74th E-Tank and some missiles, I think it was. So nothing huge, but getting in and out real quick. Basically an overworld check.
Just as a side correction, it was his 77th E-Tank. 77th, guys.
I lost count. There's a lot of them.
It's stupid, dude.
Like, who needs Crystal Flash? Just tank it.
Yeah.
That was a crappy chest game. And right into Thieves Town now. He does not have that hammer yet, so this is kind of a big watch out play. We do not want to see the small key.
We do see grapple at first test in Thieves Town, so awesome item. Maybe Maniacal, you can kind of spread the information of what that grapple unlocks right now.
Well, Osse feels good about having done that early X-ray check, so that's one of the things that it logically unlocks. The other thing that we know that it unlocks because of what we've seen on Hitaka's side is, of course, the Super Metroid digging game for the Spring Ball location at Shack Tool. And so that's the only way to access that location, so grapple, usually not something you really want to see. And otherwise, nothing, but there we go. So, unfortunately, still no lower Norfair access, because we need either the flute or space jump to show up for that to be open in this logic. But that's a really nice find. Going to reduce Super Metroid damage so that those E-Tanks will go even longer.
I was going to say, with that many E-Tanks, I probably expect most of the runners just to break lower Norfair at this point. Especially with high jump, Varia, and gravity, at least in Hitaka's side of things, once he gets his gravity or his Varia. It just depends on where he gets it or what time he gets it at.
Yeah, I mean, with their current Super Metroid loadout, if they go to Wreck Ship, like in Hitaka's case, he's got full damage prevention, he's got pretty good ammo, but his beam setup's not the best. So, I mean, it depends what they're finding. But I agree, lower Norfair is on. Hitaka does now have both gloves, hammer, and moon pearl, though. So I think if he finds boots, we might see the push back over toward A Link to the Past sometime sooner. And yeah, there's a question in the chat about IBJ because of the can fly access for lower Norfair entry. And because the Namihe's on the wall in the lava dive room, they spit flames in such a way that a normal IBJ wouldn't get you through. I don't think it can. I don't even think it's a matter of getting lucky or not lucky. Like, it can't. You have to set up a double bomb jump. And so double bomb jump is not a trick that's in logic. Like, it's doable. Runners can do it, although most runners would just gravity jump at that point, but it's not a logical way in. So normal logic, the ways into lower Norfair through the lava dive are kind of the vanilla way of having Varia plus gravity plus space jump as the intended item set, or doing the back door through Misery Mire area over into the screw attack room. And Hitaka's finding more E-tanks, so we'll see if he follows this play through Upper Norfair and just does the hell runs with 10 E-tanks right now. And Osse setting up for a blind fight. Something about novice skiers jumping to contusions is the pun of the day. I feel like that's an old... And really nice, nice scripted blind. Didn't lose too many frames there. And so, for the folks wondering, Gravity Suit is Moat Pedestal and Speed is Inwrecked Ship at Spooky Missiles, I think. Was it?
Spooky Missiles.
So yeah, they both those showed up kind of in inconvenient places. So that's a big advantage for Hitaka. Yeah, I was really excited about this 1v1, and so far it's delivering. Which obviously it's not a 1v1, we're just viewing it as a head-to-head race. But there are the 4 other racers going right now over on Speed Gaming 1, or Speed Gaming, the OG channel. And then there's the one racer who couldn't schedule this because of the travel and has a recorded VOD already submitted for a time. Hitaka is back in A Link to the Past, so no hell runs just yet. Gonna rescue the old man first. We'll see if he carries this play further in A Link to the Past with that full Dark World access, or if he does get back over and make those Meridia checks. I'll be kind of surprised to see him abandon Meridia after such an advantage of gravity and speed early like that, in a place that a lot of people like to put off, but if he's thinking about it in terms of, I just want to do the things that other people have done, it makes a lot of sense to be over here. Because in a large race, that can also be a way that you're viewing your plays, is you just don't want to be the last person to any location. And so you don't want to miss anything for too long. Now we know right now, the big thing that he's missing that's in logic that we've seen is the bow, which is Criteria Power Bombs, and that could be a while for him to pick up, and Screw Attack in Hype Cave might drive Osse to make that lower Norfair play a little more aggressively. That's a really good safety. And Red X-Ray too.
It's pretty nice, Hype Cave.
Yeah, I wouldn't be disappointed with that. Cape is always a great safety. Screw Attack is especially before Lower Norfair, a great safety. No major game-breaking items, but like just a bunch of stuff that I'm really kind of digging. We have kind of roughly sync here between the screens, except Osse has this little dwarf following him, so he's going to turn this frog in and see what happens from the Smith sequence. We'll see if Hitaka goes and gets his Varia suit. If he gets Varia here, that's like some pretty Cosmic Brain routing. Picking this up before those hell runs, that's going to work out really well for him. And I think he probably will because he has Hammer and is guaranteed to be able to complete the dungeon. Plus then, it's a red crystal.
I'm surprised he hasn't pressed towards Meridia yet, personally, but I can, again, like you mentioned, I see why he's making play. He knows other runners are going to be doing this play, so he just kind of wants to get it over with and then maybe elect to make a decision.
Yeah, like you don't have any exceptional mobility items in A Link to the Past. And so it's not like you don't stand to get a faster Link to the Past by going later. And so it's interesting, this call by Hitaka. But I mean, it's a defensible play. I understand why someone would make this play. And we'll see if Hitaka also decides to grab his big key here. He's going to have to go through the, this pinball room. See if we have the bouncy stuck mummy.
I just realized Osse still doesn't have his high jump from Retro.
Mm-hmm.
That's quite unfortunate. That's going to be a very, very slow upper Norfair now for him.
Yeah, no speed, no high jump. I think he knows high jumpless lava dive. I don't think he would go for it in this sort of race because he's thinking, I'm one of maybe a couple of the runners in this race who knows high jumpless lava dive, and so if Lower Norfair is blank with what I've seen in Logic, it's not worth chasing, and that could put me really behind because it's going to slow me down to do it that way.
Yeah.
But that might be a little too much metagaming. I don't know. It's easy to get in your head when you're doing these sorts of things.
Yeah, Bubble Mountain metagaming Osse really hard right now.
I mean,
those wall jumps.
I love right side Bubble Mountain. This first wall jump is miserable, but like I value this so much.
Oh, and he gets the first one now. Yeah, oh my god, just go left. Just go left. Or whatever.
Nah, man. Door transitions are awful. Right side Bubble Mountain is life.
You don't have to though. You can just like moonwalk to the edge frame and then do your jump that way, and then he would have already been on the second platform or the second jump.
Can you make that
Yes.
jump via moonwalk?
Yep.
Okay, then.
So you'd actually end up on that second jump that he made into the third jump, the final one, the easy one.
Okay, the second jump's still kind of tricky. And doing right side Bubble Mountain, you don't actually even need to do that second jump. He was just showing off. So you have to do one of those crappy bubble tile Alcatraz type jumps, whichever way you're doing it. So I don't know. Either way, it works out. He got there. That's the important part. We'll see what Wave has today. Double Chamber is such a crappy room, by the way.
Terrible.
Like, there's very little that I like about that room other than there's two items there. But Hitaka does get his Varia suit, so we'll see if he gets right back over into Super Metroid after this. I wouldn't be surprised to see it happen.
So Osse's not going south. I wonder if he presses on towards Croc area now.
Yeah, I think for him, he probably is going to do the Norfair Reserve. And looks like he might be setting up for the D-boost here. Not quite getting it. He has IBJ as a backup.
Yeah. Just shy on that
Yeah,
D-boost. That was a really nice attempt, though.
yeah, jumped into the waiver just a little early. But IBJ is going. He's going to do his reserve. So, shout outs to going for the D-boost strat there while you had grapple. It was kind of an interesting choice. But, like,
You
I
know
know
what?
Osse
I
likes his
completely
swag.
forgot. I completely forgot that he had it, and I wouldn't be surprised if you forgot it too.
We'll
But
see if he
yes.
menus to grapple anytime soon and it's just like, oh, wait. Powder's a nice find, though. Now, it doesn't open... Oh, he doesn't want powder. What? What just happened? Why are you resetting?
I'm confused right now.
I'm real confused by this play for Osse. Like, that was really bizarre. I guess he wants to go check retro now, but resetting powder seems pretty aggressive. And I guess he didn't find anything
No,
other
I
than
don't
the
believe he found
powder.
anything.
So I guess this is just a choice.
It's a thing that he's doing. That's for sure.
Yeah, this is one that I don't necessarily understand, and
he
I don't
didn't.
think I endorse it.
He didn't go to morph either, unless he's just gonna go and do that like kind of reverse route. But
Yeah, I think that's probably the play, is retro into reverse, so you're going to see more fun in the exit.
okay,
And Fire Shield putting in work for Hitaka.
but yeah, I don't know. I just don't agree with the play at all. I don't know about you, but I'm not leaving
Oh,
a fetch, especially without mushroom. Or yeah,
no, that's like the best fetch as well, because, you know, it's also a safety. And, yeah, I mean, they're on moderate number of hearts plus green mail, but there's that hammer for Osse, so that might be a little bit panic state, especially after just ditching that powder. Now knowing that that check is illogic. I don't know, I guess he can always grab it after Lower Norfair. I guess the worst thing that happens is that Magic Bat is Flute or something. Like, that would be pretty much maximum punished.
all right. There's the morph play.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense, this routing. This part of it. And Hitaka continuing to grab power bombs. Because why not? Doesn't have morph bombs yet, so it's pretty free to grab those there off the digging game and just make sure that you never run into a... Yeah, it looks like he's going up red tower, and we might see that play direct ship coming up. Especially if he's remembered that he has grappling beam. That might be driving him to head toward wrecked ship. And that boost ball strat or bounce ball strat or whatever you want to call it, that Osse just used on the slimes there is basically the same thing that I was advocating for checking the shaft supers. He's kind of bounced right on cleanly through. Hitaka is continuing these overworld checks, so probably is going to find his way all the way around to Hype Cave, get that screw attack, and then at that point, I can't imagine not going back to Super Metroid. You're basically fully decked out for Super Metroid minus Space Jump and Beams.
Now, do you do Norfair or Lower Norfair first? Do you do Meridia if you're going to make that play?
Even though Lower Norfair is out of logic and Meridia is in logic, I do Lower Norfair first, making that play, assuming that I'm comfortable with my super count. Like, if I know I've got at least 30 supers, then I'm making the Norfair play first, because everything in Lower Norfair isn't really out of the way. Like, everything's pretty quick to check and full clear. Whereas in Meridia, that full clear just takes forever. Like, you lose multiple minutes to some of the extra checks that you have to do full clearing Meridia. But yeah, Osse does get his gravity, is going to find his speed booster. So you just found hammer, speed booster, and gravity all kind of back to back to back in spots that have been open a while. I don't know how you really respond to that, but I think you just finish wrecked ship play. And I think Osse it's going to make a lot of sense for him to go to Meridia. But if he's thinking about that powder, doing Lower Norfair into grabbing the powder makes sense.
Yeah, I doubt he will at this point, though. I'll be interested to see if he full clears wreck ship or if he skips on the upper half, though.
Yeah, if he skips upper wrecked ship, he's going to miss out on Quake Medallion, but not much else. So we don't know how good or bad that's going to be yet. But with Speed Booster, I don't see doing the upper wrecked ship skip. At least not an hour and 3 minutes into a seed. Like, if you're at two hours, or if you're at like 30 minutes, I could see either of them. But like, this is kind of mid-seed where you're really just trying to full clear and get volume of checks, and Super Metroid mobility is pretty good right now. I guess it comes down to there aren't a lot of attractive options that aren't upper wrecked ship right now. And looks like we're going to get that Smith turn in. Hitaka is being really thorough with this overworld stuff. I don't know if I like this, but, you know, it's, again, like, it's about being completionist. It's just I don't know if I would be completionist with this stuff right now, given what's open to him.
Osse's having a hell of a time with this Phantoon right now.
Yeah, Phantoon with Screw Attack, normally not this scummy, but it might be some of the tilt about that gravity and speed booster location, but we're on like a 5 cycle.
Yeah, 5th cycle here. Wow. I mean, it does happen. Like, you just have a bad Phantoon every now and then, so...
I had an any percent PB for a while with a 5-round Phantoon in it. Like, sometimes Phantoon just goes sideways, and then, like, especially once the first bad round happens, you're just, like, angry at Phantoon, but you're stuck there. Yeah, Osse grabbing supers, so might be thinking about that Ridley fight coming up. Wouldn't surprise me because the lower Norfair check, even though it's out of logic, seems to me like the most attractive option on the table. Like, provided I've got 30 supers, that's where I'm going. Somehow I feel like the seed really wants you to be in Meridia, though. Like, you've got speed booster and you've got grapple, so and screw attack plus bombs. So every single location in Meridia is in logic, in normal logic right now.
Yeah.
That does worry me. So I guess it depends how much it worries me as to whether I'm going to push for that or upper or lower Norfair here. I wouldn't be shocked to see quite a few runners on the other channel in Meridia right now, though.
Yeah, I honestly, I can't get with Hitaka's play not to go to Meridia at this point. I mean, he had it so early. The advantage is well gone at this point of him having in a 7-man race. So now he's kind of committed to Link the Past, which I can understand. Going to Norfair, I don't know. I would probably put off on Norfair again, just because that Vary is a little more free than the Gravity Find, but we'll kind of see how it works out for him.
Apparently, Ms. Metroid saying no one's in Meridia, which that to me is jarring.
I'm baffled by
disagree with what everyone's doing.
Yeah, I do too. I mean, if other runners have gravity, then honestly, anyone that has gravity right now, shame on them. Honestly, I'll be very open and honest about that. That's a bad call, but again, we'll just see how it plays out. You might have something at Croc here with various speed. It is in logic, and if it is, all power to him. But
yeah, every item in Croc is in logic right now. But this is like a pendant 6-item dungeon versus a crystal 17-item dungeon, assuming that you consider Meridia all as one piece. Which Meridia is really fragmented, which is part of why people can really desire splitting it up, just wanting to do backdoor Meridia with, in this seed, the optional flippers. So, like, I get it. You can split it into, like, a 3-item crystal dungeon and a 14-item pendant dungeon. But I don't know. I'm not digging it.
I mean, we also have to understand that it is a 7-person race. Like, Osse is not routing like Osse normally. Like, normally what he would do in this instance is he'd actually put off Rekship top. So he would do basically Phantoon. He would do the first 2 items after Phantoon, left and right, and then he bails. But in this instance, he's checking everything. He just wants to be like super safe. He doesn't want to lose a race because of an upper Rekship play, especially one that's so accessible early. Hitaka side of things, I mean, I think he's playing too safe. But then again, I get it. I can read his gameplay like a book. He's just, like you said, completionist. Let his execution do the talking, and there's our mirror. So
big find.
The play, yeah, it's a good find. It's a really good find. So I'm glad it worked out for him.
Yeah, I mean, the mentality about this race is completely different because it's a 7-way don't come in last race.
Yeah.
And so everyone is probably pursuing these ultra safe plays and not being nearly as aggressive in either a 7-player 2-slot race or a head-to-head where you absolutely need to win.
And again, that's what I was getting at, is if it's like that scenario where it's only 2 spots, you're seeing Osse make that play and skipping Rekship, you're seeing Hitaka going to Meridia right away. It's how it plays, right? Like, you're in a situation where you're playing for 6 to 7 spots, you're definitely gonna, I would say, playing safe is the right call. But I think in the context of what your items were, that's where the mistakes were made, though. Because there's still ways you can be safe depending on your decision making.
Oh yeah, I mean, it makes a lot of sense, but like, it's real frustrating not seeing anyone in Meridia.
I agree. I totally get that.
Like,
Osse might make a play, but we'll see.
Yeah, I could see both these guys thinking, you know, I've got 2 minutes to lose on execution. I can do 2 minutes of extra stuff at a few different spots in the race because, you know, my gameplay in both games is solid and, you know, I'm playing against other good runners. But really, this is a game of execute okay and just don't make a huge mistake. Because the idea is, you know, 1 of 7 runners is probably going to make a huge mistake somewhere. Right now, we've seen that maybe be Hitaka with skipping the bow, because it's going to kind of be tough to get back up to that Criteria Peebs location. I mean, it is right off a reset to the ship, but like that one could hang around for a while. I know I missed Flute there just a few days ago, and I mean, I did it without Flute, but Flute would have made the seat a lot easier than I made it. And something like Bow, I mean, that's a completely different world.
All right, so Taka going for gravity-less, just high jump area strats here for the lava dive. Nicely done. You have a couple options there. As you mentioned earlier, gravity dive, probably the freest of the options. Literally, you either just stand still or run and execute the gravity dive by menuing. In that instance, he just turned off gravity and used the Namahe heads to basically platform his way up the lava dive there and get on through.
Yeah, it looked like
wow.
Yeah, here comes Waterway.
Wow.
This is Osse really not wanting to get punished.
Yeah, this is really safe. Like this is so incredibly safe to make this play, honestly. Yeah.
All right, it was nothing. Right back on track.
Something that's if it turned into something that's big, but that's definitely, again, just playing on that mindset and entertaining it, or instructing or informing the viewers, I guess, of it is what it is. It's a 6 out of 7th place race where don't get last, as you mentioned, and these guys are going to play very safe. But nice clip there by Osse. That's pretty fun.
Yeah, it still has bombs, and screw attack.
Yeah,
but just not like, nah, I'll do the hundo clip.
Yep. Yeah, not doing it.
I think he might be going to get his mail upgrade here soon. I don't think he scouted it the first time. Oh, nope. He's just peeping the Criteria Peebs item.
But he's been there, though. Like,
I was going to say,
the road he took. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because he went up Red Tower to Red Ship.
Yeah. I don't know what that was. Maybe he forgot he'd been there.
He forgot he routed it in that way. I guarantee it.
And was going for Blockbuster. I had my fingers crossed for him. Because Blockbuster's pretty sweet. But just not quite getting it. I think we're going to get that Meridia play, though.
Yo, shoutouts to Hitaka's missile, like, straight up clipping through the gate, by the way. It wasn't even, like, the block, it was right through the gate.
Okay, we're getting a Meyer check first. And he's got mirror, so...
Makes sense. Makes a lot of sense finding that mirror.
Yeah, this... So, Meyer is not Quake. Meyer is Ether. So we don't know. I mean, both runners got Quake, so... Here comes a nice stutter 3 from Osse. Oh, he had the echo.
There we go. It's super tight. We see Bombos at checkerboard, so not quite the medallion they're looking for. But hey, we got Ice Palace options open to us now through a sequence break without flippers, but it's open.
Yeah, I'm not breaking into Bombos Ice Palace or Bombos Pendant Ice Palace without flips. But it is on the table. If flips show up, that becomes notably less awesome. Have we seen Agina?
I can't remember if we have or not. I doubt it. Not in this stream, at least.
Okay, whatever was in the wall there, Osse didn't want. I missed what it was.
Yeah, it wasn't anything good either. I kind of caught it, but it wasn't substantial. But yeah, green goo in Agina's cave, so that's now scattered out for us.
Yeah, which the bottle didn't go anywhere, but it's good to get that one out of the way. I do like doing that check from mirroring from the mire area. It's a good way to get there, especially if you don't have.
All right, we're one E tank away from full hundo.
We've almost got the whole set, and we do have the full set of shields now. Hitaka picking up his lag shield. Confirming he does not have flippers. I swear that walk there, like
there it is.
Oh, yes, got him.
He does a little dance for it too. He's like, yeah.
Oh yeah.
That was the fastest.
That left-right turn.
That is the fastest I've ever seen a C get to 14 E tanks. I swear, that's stupid.
Yeah, I've never seen that sub 2 hours. I think that's really crazy.
It's not even sub 2. It's like 1:16, dude. It's like so fast.
Yeah. Plus, we've seen I think 3 reserves at this point.
Yeah.
Like this seed for Super Metroid completely loaded.
So which is good. I mean, you're playing a 2-game game, and if your weaker game is Super Metroid, and you're like not feeling super comfy about low percent Metroid, like this is the seed for you. And nice tempered sword here at Aqueducts for Osse, but I think that's gonna be a little bit more as well. Because now again, like they have early screw attack, they have early suits, they have early tanks. I mean, you're taking away some of those advantages that again a stronger SM player might have in their mechanics and execution, and it's more or less making the game a little more free now. So we'll see how it plays out.
Yeah, we've got a routing and speed execution seed, other than a little bit of green mail, like 6-ish heart Dark World that showed up. But for the most part, this is a pretty cozy seed. Oh, Batwoon choosing the sneaky hole there, but Osse gets him. Yeah, the behind the back hole, not the favorite hole.
Yeah, sneaky.
And I missed what was there at wave.
Is a beam? I think it's wave. Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah, wave beam.
Yeah. It's all block colored. Oh, don't quick drop, Osse. That's not what you wanted to do.
That would have been great.
That would have been pretty hilarious.
That would have made my stream experience that much better today. Shined a little too early, so he's probably just going to speed up. Yeah.
Yeah, no halfy, just going for the pre-halfy. So here comes Dragon. We'll see what Space Jump has today, but then the option is, do you go and full clear the rest of Meridia? I think so. I think you're thorough in Meridia the way the seed threw Meridia access at you. Like, that to me really suggests that there's something here that I'm supposed to find that's going to do something, probably for A Link to the Past. Like, if all I find here is Space Jump, I'm pretty upset about it, because that's the piece of progression that's, like, entirely optional. But I'm not leaving here without checking everything. until I find a big piece of progression.
I don't see him skipping it. Again, just because of the context of the race, I think you and I would approach it the same. Is you'd have a gameplay or game plan in for it, and it looks like both our runners here have kind of that hundo game plan mindset. So I doubt there's a skip here coming up from Osse.
Yeah, I mean, hundo SM, especially with no fanfares, like, it's pretty free. You can go through and make sure to knock everything out. Unfortunately for Hitaka, that bow skip is like, that's still just weighing on my mind.
It's pretty free to check after the words. Like, there's a lot of spots where he could reset, but they're running out. Like, if he goes to Meridia before transitioning, then I'd be a little worried about the bow spot, but he has options to get there.
I think for me, it's more, this is such a free check to have made early that it's one of those locations that I'm more likely to forget that I've not been to. Bow is at the top right of ship power bombs, the criteria power bombs location, which was accessible either with speed booster or with morph bombs, which Hitaka hasn't found in Eastern early. So Bow's just hanging out there, but it's this singleton location in an easily accessible part of the map, but an easily forgettable part of the map. Nice Zebo drops, by the way. I think I got 7 supers in a row from Zebos the other day.
Nice.
I felt real good.
Also, shout
These
out
guys
to
are...
forgetting about...
Sorry?
I was going to say shout out to forgetting about hookshot. Oh, no, there we are. The grapple beam. I was wondering why I wasn't using it earlier. But there we are.
And he got to 30, so that is the magic number for Ridley. Unless he wants to use other ammo, and it looks like he's going for a power bomb open. Don't know if I like that open.
Oh, baby. That's a double O baby right there.
That like, flippers feels bad.
Where do I go first, though? He's like,
yeah,
he's angle canceling everywhere. That's great. What should I choose?
That's a pretty loaded sandpit, but those flippers,
that was good.
I don't like that.
Why don't you like the flippers?
Ice and swamp are both pendants.
Yeah, but you haven't seen Zora area either, so I wouldn't mind it. I'm happy about the Red Cane too, especially if I route in like to Lower Norfair, and in Osse's side he hasn't seen Myers Medallion. I'd be feeling pretty good about getting around Red Cane there too as well.
Yeah, Red Cane's great, and the problem is no Mire and no Mire access, no ether, and no fire.
Oh yeah, true enough. It's fine, guys. Fire Rod's just gonna be in that pendant swamp.
I don't wish that on them. That would be pretty brutal. But yeah, Ice is in logic with the bombos and the flippers. Don't really want to do that, but we'll see. Also, a screw attack, making sure Hitaka can preserve his 12 E-tanks.
So he had a logic play so far for Hitaka and not really paying off in Lower Norfair. He does have 3 more item locations coming up. But after that, he's pretty much done with Norfair in general. Yeah. It's unfortunate.
Yeah, this one didn't pan out, but I mean, like we talked about it, and you know, It's basically a linear area, so you don't lose a ton of time by doing these extra checks, even if they don't turn out. Like, the difference between Go Mode Lower Norfair and Full Clear Lower Norfair is basically the way that you exit Lower Norfair. And with 3 supers only, we might have just seen the normal Lower Norfair exit anyway in Go Mode, so it's not a huge time loss, and there was a lot of opportunity for this to be something good.
Nice little blue mail here too from Osse on the right sandpit.
Yeah, so I don't think Osse knows about the mail upgrade at Climb Supers, so we might actually see red mail today. Hitaka definitely knows about the mail upgrade there, so if he gets blue mail in that sand pit, probably not going to see red mail today for him. And Osse is making that Shack tool check, using some angles to ensure his jump height so he can get up here with high jump boots. Thankfully, high jump boots a part of a healthy loadout for getting into Shack tool, but is the bounty in effect?
I mean, I'm not watching the other 4 runners, so I should say no. It's not really fair, but maybe.
Okay,
I don't know.
yeah.
I gotta see how I'm feeling.
Osse's feeling like he might not want to even go there. He's turned
like,
his back on Shack tool.
I don't want any play of this. I'm already starting to like this guy a lot more now.
Never turn your back on Shack tool. He will come the whole way around the room and he will crush you. Very slowly. Let's see what Spring Ball's got today. So Meridia seems to have been just the flips and the cane. And honestly, ooh, and Plasma.
That's not that bad.
That's a
That's
keep.
not that bad at all. Yeah.
No, like it's probably an item that you would have saved more time by skipping because no charge beam yet, but
I mean, you can kill Shack tool that much faster now though, so it's pretty good. Oh, come on.
I got him.
Yeah.
And Hitaka does use the grapple, but is going for backup wall jumps because grappling beam's hard. Grappling beam is like the most difficult intended mechanic in Super Metroid. It's really it's not even that badly implemented. It's just like really wonky to use sometimes. And is Hitaka going to keep his powder?
I certainly hope so because he's already done Lower Norfair without a save. So I don't think you're seeing a reset there.
I would have just been so confused if he just like reveals powder, turns his back, and leaves. But yeah, he's not resetting, that's for sure. And nice scout of bottom right Bubble Mountain item, and then go in to check Cathedral missiles. So what does Osse do here?
Pod.
Pod?
Pod.
You just found Flippers and Canis Samari and you're going...
Pod. It's a no-brainer, but he's gonna make me a liar, and he's gonna go to Ice Palace, or no, he's gonna check out the Flipper Lock with me. It's okay.
I was gonna say, I think you do the flip checks because
that's
the seed threw Meridia at you, and the only thing you found was Flippers that opened anything because you don't have Ether Medallion. Yeah. And if you find Ether Medallion, I think you're beelining it right back to Crystal Mire.
We also don't
Although
forget
you
our
probably do
friend
pod
Osse is
first.
I was gonna say our friend Aussie has not found the mirror yet either, so he's locked into either pod or Ice Palace check as well. So even then, I still think pressing the crystal is a better play, regardless if you have lamp and logic or not.
Yeah, I mean, lamp is pretty much optional, provided that fire rod does not show up behind the lamp.
And meanwhile, Hitaka's next play, which is I think stronger just because of his item set, is going to be now Hera into East Death Mountain, Dark Hole Death Mountain combo, as it will be our first check on the mountainside here, and just a lot of item variety that could benefit him.
Oh, well then.
Sick lamp.
Are we going to pod? I think now we're going to pod. And what do we get from the fairy? Good job being honest, Aussie, and getting a fairy for our honesty.
So interesting that Aussie finds the lamp at the same time Hitaka gets like blocked out of Hera requiring the lamp for the basement big key.
Oh, speaking of blocked, we got some Dead Rock love. Just gonna audible into Spiral Cave, and we're gonna finally see what Zora had. What, an hour and 12 minutes ago? A little longer, even.
I want it to be boots or hookshot. I really do. Flute
Oh,
would
man.
also be acceptable.
Both of those would be top notch.
Nah.
The discount was not top notch, but
Yeah, that's
good
not
to
a
see.
discount.
I mean, it is lag reduction, I think. Let's see what's the rupee count looking like. No, not lag reduction. Unfortunate. And so Dark Death Mountain coming up for Hitaka. We're gonna have some Super Bunny action. Nope, never mind. Never mind. Man, I'm just getting them all wrong. There's that space jump to put Lower Norfair into logic.
I can imagine a swear coming from Hitaka's side of things, just because, well, at least he knows that's in logic and he did it, so it's not that bad, but still.
Yeah, actually, I'm not salty at all about that.
Oh.
And yo, what a cave!
All right, so we get boots and ether. Ether was what Misery Mire access requirement. So now
Yep.
we have that to our name.
Yeah.
Unfortunate on Hitaka's side, and you know you're gonna feel this too, is he's already done a Lower Norfair play. So for him, it's unfortunate because now, say this is required and say Flute is in GT, he's gonna have to go back down through Lower Norfair proper to get to the GT spawn or GT area for the warp.
Yeah. With Speed Booster, it's not too bad to do from the Death Mountain portal. It's not like he has to go through like the whole Bubble Mountain region, but it is kind of crappy. Like, there's no getting around it. It's suboptimal. But I feel a lot less bad about it because I did get over there, get the ether, get the boots. I'm going to find out. Well, actually, no, you don't even scout the Turtle Rock medallion here. You've got the playset. Like, you've got all 3 medallions. You're good to go. So that feels good too.
Yeah.
Now, he does not yet have that Cane of Samaria from Meridia, so it's not super on his radar. We don't want to see him go to Mire area chasing, looking for Cane. That would be a recipe for disaster. See if we get some hovers here. Oh, he was thinking about it, but now he's coming back out. And do we get 18 or 19 arrows?
I think he's thinking about the half magic and he's just like not worth.
19. All right.
And there's that third item from Eastern, not worth. Just +5 arrow capacity.
Yeah, but that was a good time to route it in, and Hitaka checking all of the bushes, not just the Heart and Fairy bushes. Looking for a little bit of love, didn't find anything. Think about that half magic to do Spike Cave. It's gonna be a little tight, but he'll have enough to make it through. Yeah. And 13 hearts now too, so very healthy in both games. So, how do you feel about leaving half magic there? Do you go grab that or no?
Not in their tool set. I mean, Hitaka's side he only has Master Sword, so maybe. But how long would it take you? About 30 seconds? Kind of marginal if that's gonna save you that much time.
Yeah, so for Hitaka, this has to be the Meridia play. He'll find his cane and his flips, and then I don't know. No flute yet, so I don't know when he'll end up getting into Mire. Missed the 2-tap, so going for the stutter 3. Bold play by Hitaka, but nails it, so good job on Hitaka's side, also getting that pretty tight Main Street short charge. Pod not immediately bow locked, so that feels good if you're Osse. Because that's just the idea that someone could have come in and wasted more time before finding their bow. It was just missiles in the wall at Mama Turtle. And so we've got 2 small keys so far, so I expect him to go check the vanilla big key location. That's pretty much the conventional routing here for Pod, and yeah, it looks like he's setting up to do exactly that. And our first item, so that actually feels good because you know that nobody would reasonably leave that assuming that they aren't in go mode. And without the boots, Osse does have to bomb open the walls here. That mirror at Croc. If that mirror leads us to hookshot, that's going to be pretty big. And Hitaka also getting his last E-Tank. No victory dance from Hitaka. Just getting trapped by a pancake and a 1-tile hole. Osse just about to the back of Pod, so we'll see what he finds. He is setting up to at least open the door. We'll see if he also goes for a hammer jump. No, he's just going to bomb the mini helmet, bomb open the wall. As Hitaka gets his tempered sword, so that feels a little bit better after that half magic skip. And I missed what was there on the left side chest. Big key on the right side. And I think with that, Harmless Hellway is not guaranteed to be a key. Or no key could have been in the Dark Maze, so Harmless Hellway had to be a key. So that was backwards thought by me and also by Osse. And looks like he's going for a top strat bomb hammer yump here because he does not have mirror and has a fairy in a bottle and so won't be able to death warp out, but gets it very cleanly. And Hitaka going back through the Batoon maze, or through the Morph Ball maze here, with power bombs to go get that wave beam. It's a commitment to wave. And Osse forgot where the chest was, but just the compass, so made it through. Or at least it looked like he was kind of fidgeting around, just kind of ribbing him a bit, but overall pretty nice. It's actually pretty clean routing here for this dungeon. Without mirror, this is a tough dungeon to route. So, pod so far coming back pretty empty. But we know that Hitaka's about to find nothing at Dre, but we'll, presumably find those flips and the cane in that sand pit, so that should set him up to go get his lamp and go do Misery Mire. Misery Mire's looking like the play right now. I'm really glad that the flippers led to something in Zora's domain. And so that, very reasonably, is why the seed gave us the flippers, rather than wanting us to go into, say, Pendant Ice or Pendant Swamp. And so that's something that we could see the runners put off for quite a while. And Hitaka going for grapple quick kill here, except not really getting the quick kill, but just normal grapple strats on Dre. And nice job getting that right side grapple as Osse is going for normal hammer strats, not taking the extra lag from holding that hammer out, or from holding the sword out. Now he's switching over. And doing a good job of cleaning up Helmasaur's second phase as well. And so now we're going to see how Hitaka chooses to route in the rest of the Meridia checks. I think we'll probably see the exact same things that we saw from Osse in terms of doing Shack Tool, doing Plasma, doing the Sand Pits. It just makes a lot of sense, especially with philosophically how the runners have been playing the seed thus far. And, you know, in my sense, philosophically, how you should play a race like this. Again, this is not a 1v1 race, but it is a free-for-all 7-way race where the runners are playing for 6 spots in the top 8, and their particular finishing order doesn't matter at all. And so each runner is coming into this with the goal of do not come in last. And so that really changes how you think about what you're doing with your plays, especially if you don't think you're one of the players who needs to get lucky to make it out of this. Most players are playing this with the don't be the one who makes a big mistake mindset. And so we're watching for when Hitaka gets back to landing site to check criteria power bombs to get his bow. That's the big missing piece, but nothing has shown up behind bow. Both Armos Knights and Pod were pretty blank. And there's those flips and that cane. And Hitaka's going to reset, scout the other sand pit, and then come back and get those. There's obviously no way he's leaving those items, but this is just for more concise routing.
Absolutely. And we do see Osse over here checking in for Quakefish now. Hitaka again, check that right sand pit. Gonna get, I believe, red mail at this point for him. And we'll probably look for him to red into Shack Tool at that point. Blue mail, but he's skipping it. Wow. I'm actually surprised. He's like, I want no part of that. Bull play being on like 12 hearts blue or green mail right now, and it's not going to take him that long to get it, but he's like, I don't want it. I don't need it. Alright, so on Osse's side of things, looks like he's going to be going now towards Norfair proper. So he's going to probably check out... Oh, no. No, he's not. Where's he going to go? Oh, is he going to Spike Cave, maybe? Oh, that's probably what he's going to do. I was going to say he's going to go down the speed or wave blocked areas of Crockmire Norfair sections, and then he would pick up his mirror at the cosine room, but he's going to put that off a little bit longer. There, so now Osse making the play down to Norfair here. Interested to see if he routes in lower first, or if he decides to go with the logic and route in the bottom portions here. Because he does have Ice Palace in logic with the flippers and glove combination. I believe he does have Bombos as well, so he would be able to get in there. On the other hand of things, he does not have mirrors, so he does not have Swamp Palace access yet until he kind of gets there. But he is actually going back for the powder here. So this tells me that if he's going to route it this way, he's going to go to Lower Norfair next. Unfortunate, just missed the power bomb radius there for the bomb blocks. All right, but yeah, he's gonna go towards Crockmire area first. He does know that he's not in logic currently, albeit he will get a space jump at East Death Mountain. Gonna be heading on over to do Crockmire first.
And it was good to see Osse go back and get his powder. Yeah. That was some really weird routing, but you know, I figured he would probably tie it together when he was on his way back here, and going to get his mirror is going to be really good for him. Whereas we see Hitaka is chasing those flippers from that sand pit after successfully recovering them. Is going to get his lamp here shortly. Croc's hitbox is being a thing. but that should take care of it.
Also, I don't believe Hitaka checked out Shackle, by the way.
Okay. That I missed. I did have to step away for just a second, and so I wasn't exactly sure how he closed out his Meridia routing. So thank you for letting me know. That's another loose square.
So he did check out Plasma, so he reset, and then he grabbed the value sandpit of the cane flippers, and then he just kind of bailed.
Yeah, and there's a couple slashes at that lamp, and he's gonna get his fairy. And for Hitaka, this Zora will be a little bit of lag reduction. Or no, it won't. No, it won't. It won't until he picks up a few extra rupees, but he'll be 17 down to 1200, which will be nice for him.
All right, explain lag reduction for rupees.
Oh, just it's such a minor thing. That's why I joke about it. But the way that A Link to the Past renders numbers, higher numbers induce more lag, and so your rupee count actually lags the game, and so it's better to have fewer rupees. Whereas we saw Osse go from like 1200 or 1300 down to like 700 or 800, that turned a 1 and a 3 into a 0 and an 8, which did not reduce lag. But Hitaka turned a 17 into a 12, and so that was positive for him. That's all I'm talking about there. Yeah, more meaningfully than that, Osse does get his mirror.
You know something's up. He's gonna go right for East Death Mountain, Dark Old Death Mountain now.
Yeah, I mean, chasing that, especially because he does have the fire source for Hera, like, it makes sense. He can go get that scout on Turtle Rock, learn what the medallion is, and he will have to scout it because he does not yet have his Bombos medallion. And so he's going to want to know if this is required. Of course, he'll find his Bombos medallion right in sequence with going over to Meyer area. But yeah, just getting this location out of the way. This is a lot of stuff that just opened up. And I was talking to Osse just the other day, and he said he does not hover, and so we won't see a hover in Hookshot Cave. So those locations won't be available to him, but he will, because he will find the boots, be able to bonk over and get that one chest. And Hitaka following up on the boots at King's Tomb. This is a new location for us.
We're also going to see a new location from Osse here in the remainder of Hera, as Hitaka did not have a fire source when he first came in here.
Yeah, so this is going to be all new here in the basement, and the two items in Hera from Osse. If Fire Rod shows up here in Hera, that is kind of a worst case thing for Hitaka, but Hitaka does now have his lamp, and so that closed Hera crystal is probably weighing on his mind a little bit, especially as checks are starting to dry up. But we are going to see the Magic Bat here, roughly concurrently with Osse getting his big key coming up. Oh, that's a good find.
Nice charge beam.
Yeah, so no piece of that puzzle was in Lower Norfair, so the game didn't necessarily want you to double dip Lower Norfair. But that's always pretty funny. Hitaka without Plasma Beam from Shacktool will not get as much out of that charge beam as Osse will when he decides to go get it, but like you said, I don't know if Plasma is going to end up saving that much time. This Hera layout, though, is a piece of crap, as Osse is setting up for his bomb jump. This is a 2-pixel window, and if he messed it up, he would fall 2 floors, so pretty tight trick. Gets it first try. Very easy.
Pretty free with the sword spins too. Like you can just sword spin layouts, release your spin, and you're put at that perfect pixel for the bomb jump every time.
Yeah, it puts you right on that edge pixel, but if you mess it up as I'm wont to do, you end up just walking into the hole when you're trying to do the sword spins, and so especially with that two floor fall looming, this is a 1 floor fall from Moldorm. Cool boss fight.
Close to a 2 fall. You could 2 fall from there.
Yeah, that's a pretty rare 2 fall though. It was close though.
Pixel off.
But
that's crazy, but yeah.
And getting revenge. We'll see what the second item here from Hera is. Red Ruby and...
Oh, that's big. That's big.
That's real big. That is a massive thing. That's gonna be... Well, it's not going to be an entire trip up Death Mountain for anyone, but it is going to let Osse fully clear here because the lamp was the entire trip up Death Mountain.
Yeah, and Hitaka is chasing wisely, so like he doesn't have bow, so he's still putting off Pod Eastern, and he's gonna get this hook shot now. So that actually might put him towards Swamp Palace much faster, actually. He probably would like to option Eastern and Pod as being crystals more favorably, but at this point, still no bow. He probably will go to Swamp next.
Yeah, no bow. I don't know. I usually want to check Pod and see if I'm bow locked at this point before diving into Pendants, but that's because I'm kind of aggressively against Pendant Dungeons. But the game did give you everything. If Hookshot Cave doesn't have anything, I agree with chasing Swamp. And yeah, I see chat is with me on Hitaka not having the bow. Like, I don't even think it's that crazy that he doesn't have it. It's just, you know, it's a crappy location if you leave it behind. It's easy to forget, and it's easy to go back and check, but, like, I'm really worried about this bow location.
It's one of those situations where he just ran into too much, like, too soon, and it really kind of clouded where he needed to do, and put a lot of better options available to then just checking that one-off orphan location at this point.
Yeah, and that's what worries me about it, is it came into logic fairly early. It's a one-off that you go by at least a few times, and there's no other checks in its vicinity right now that are left. And so if he's entirely forgotten it, that's real bad. I mean, that's stating the obvious, but there's going to be good chances for him to check it, like when he's going for Torian if he resets to the ship, or anytime he wants to reset to the ship. But it's also entirely conceivable that it'll take him a long time to get back there. And he's also going for this bomb jump. Nice setup. Using the bonk setup, that widens that window for success from 2 pixels to 6 pixels. Don't know why. Game's weird, but it's a nice strat to use. We'll see if Moldorm goes to 2-1 here. Moldorm right now sitting at 1-1 after that bout with Osse. And Moldorm 1, Runners 2. So Moldorm now with a losing record, and Hitaka has his hook shot. Not happy about it. And so I think Hitaka's going to go chase Hookshot Cave immediately, which isn't going to get him anywhere. Oh, maybe not. What you doing, Hitaka? Oh, huh. We're going back to Super Metroid. For what? Meyer.
Meyer,
Hitaka wants Meyer.
Yeah.
That makes a lot of sense because that's a behind the lamp thing.
It doesn't have bow,
Okay.
yeah, for sure.
Yeah, this is a crystal he can 100% complete right now. It's in logic. As much as I overlooked the play, this is the right play to make.
Although they do have Fat Fairy available now too, so we might see Osse elect to make that play rather than the Meyer play. But we do see Osse dipping into TR without the Fire Rod. We'll see how this one goes.
Yeah, this is a nice quick check. Or it's not.
It makes sense doing it now in his position, whereas if it was Hitaka, it wouldn't make sense. Just because he's pretty late game at this point. He's about 2 hours in. So, and he gets a key, nice.
He's about 2 minutes in from his timer, but yeah.
World record incoming. No big deal.
Yeah. Hitaka getting bopped not long after getting world record.
Who bopped him?
Oh no, Osse would bop him here with his 2-minute time.
I'm not even following, sorry.
Yeah. Oh no one got the Hitaka bop. Hitaka still has our world record here in combo rando. What a seed that was. Of course it's Chomp Smoky. Vanilla Big Key incoming.
That's great. So basically the way the game can place Fire Rod is in the following chest. Is that spiked chest on the left. I think that's the map chest. Ball and Chain, Vanilla Big Key chest, Mimics, Big Key chest, Switch chest, or Laser Bridge. So it can't chain it on the right side, and what that needs to happen is the right combination of keys. And getting us 2 small keys, he now has both Mimics and Vanilla Big Key chest open. So Vanilla Big Key chest has to be a big key here for it to work.
Yeah, or the Fire Rod.
Right. I've gotten Fire Rod in this chest before. It feels great when it happens, so we'll have to wait and see how it goes. Oh, it's there! Let's go! That's that feel right there. That's the feel.
Yeah, that's the getting paid feel.
So that's go mode now, I believe. Yeah, no, that's go mode. That's go mode. Nice.
Yeah, so Osse 204 go mode, pretty solid.
Yeah.
Following up looking like probably a 2-4. 2-4x probably.
Man, that's so scummy too, because you have Pendant Ice and Pendant Swamp available. Oh my god, the only saving grace is it can't be ped because Skullwoods obviously, but yeah, that's pretty garb. Not gonna lie, but
garbage to your item location, but that when you get small key is like
Yeah.
small key is such a polarizing thing in Turtle Rock where like you're either going to be really, really happy or really, really upset. And obviously Fire Rod turned Aussie into really, really happy about that check.
Oh, for sure. Like he's sitting pretty. He's like with that play alone, he's gonna be a favorite to finish first here at this point.
Probably. I would think that, you know, Aussie's in good standing to potentially win this race outright. And I'm sure that he knows it too, based on that check. Like, he was late getting up to Death Mountain, but he knows that not everyone's going to make that Turtle Rock play. Not everyone's going to have already done Meridia, for instance, because of the way the item sequence fell. But, wow, hookshot in Hera means that you had to get your mirror from Croc, so Croc was required. Yeah, this broke Aussie's way right here in the past few minutes. That was, you know, a really good outcome for him.
Like the late mirror really benefited his running because you get the hook shot and it's like, you know, I'm at TR. I do have the medallion.
Yeah,
it makes
already.
sense for him to go in there at that point. Like it makes so much sense. You're 2 hours in. I want to check it now so I can just go back. Like his options would have been pretty limited. It's what Mire and Desert at that point, or the pendant dungeons. So it totally made sense in my head how that worked out.
Yeah, and we're looking at late mirror from Croc, and also upper wrecked ship Quake as the access points to go get this fire rod.
Nice
Oh
flute.
baby. This is like the feels good story of the year happening right now for Aussie. He is on cloud 9 with these item locations the way this is breaking.
Oh man, I'm literally dying, guys. Like commentating this race, but this is worth it. Like just seeing the flute there, and now he's gonna save time on the double dip to Mire Desert area is hilarious.
Oh yeah, like he's gonna just go activate flute right on over to Meyer Desert.
Hitaka's gonna be so mad, dude. He's gonna be like, he's gonna get his fire on and get the flute. He's like, come on, it's gonna be so good.
Yeah, and we know this is gonna be a full clear Meyer for at best Ice Beam. Like, what are you getting here? Silver arrows?
That's pretty much all that can benefit him. I mean, Hitaka, like you said it, he's in a really bad spot here. Like, after 2 crystals at his point, he's still missing bow. He's still missing ice rod. He's still missing fire rod. Like, that's really troubling. And with Bombos, he's gonna be thinking Ice Palace. With the Swamp Palace compliment, he's gonna be thinking Swamp. I mean, his option, I know how I would route, and he's not gonna like it. Like, it's gonna push him towards those pendants and just waste a lot of time, unfortunately. But it's just unfortunately how the route worked for him.
Where is that ice rod again?
That ice rod was in the Eastern Palace big chest.
Oh gosh. Yeah, so this bow skip is like turning into an unmitigated disaster. He needs to go to Criteria Peebs.
Like, think about that too. He could go to Eastern Pod looking for that bow before he goes there. He might forget about it. Like, it's not looking good, man. Like, you know, like early on, he's looking really good. He's playing really well. But if you hundo a seed, like full hundo, and you miss that opportunity, it's tough, man. That could be the out for other guys to kind of just climb up on over him, basically.
Yeah, I mean, I'd put Hitaka on life support until he gets to the criteria Peebs.
Yeah. Like if he starts checking pendants, it could be like that could be a rip. That's how bad it is.
Yeah, which I mean, what we're seeing play out here is like that's how easy it is to lose any race in this game. Because there's so many locations and it's such a high variance randomizer that like if you leave that one spot, like that can just be it. Anyone can lose any race. That said, he does get through Meyer, get another crystal. So 3 crystals down, 4 bosses down. The 4 bosses down part is the part that worries me a little. Because that means, like, the next time he goes to Super Metroid, it's to clean up singleton locations like Waterway, which he still has, Crateria Peebs, Shack Tool. Those aren't really high on my list of things I want to do. And then going and doing Torian. So I think the best case scenario is doing Waterway off of like the Norfair portal or even Meridia portal, like saving. I think Norfair portal, save it the entry to Meridia, go do Shack, keep Plasma, backtrack probably because Plasma's going to be roughly time neutral. Go do Waterway, do Torian, and then Crateria Peebs post Torian on the escape, doing Super Metroid first, is probably the best route available to get Hitaka back on track. I don't know if maybe you're seeing something else.
I don't even see that as an option though. That's what I'm getting at is you have so many good options ahead. And you know, they're good, they're situational, right? Like if it turns out that they're not the right play, it doesn't become good anymore. But in this instance, it's gonna take him a long time to get back on track. I'm really worried. I'm really worried for him.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of viable stuff in A Link to the Past. Thankfully, none of it's guaranteed completable. Whereas, like, that Torian play is kind of the one thing that's guaranteed to be progression. He does have the loadout to make it quick. Like, that's... I'm looking for outs here, dude. I'm like, you know, we're on a low percenter, but I'm just trying to figure out how Hitaka gets this back on track without getting completely derailed with a hundo seed.
And he's still at 212, but he's only on 4 dungeons. I'm like, it's 212 and I'm missing 3 items. I don't care if this is a 6 or 7 like race. I'm really worried again.
Yeah, go mode -3 when one of those is Ice Rod and the other's Bow. Like, those things can be in so many spots.
Fire Rod as well. Like, he's exercising all 3 locations well. And he's grabbing hearts here. That tells me
Looks like ice.
Ice, yeah.
It might be a swamp play. Oh, menu to hammers seems like swamp. Okay. Swamp has more items, makes more sense to me. Yeah, Sylphid in chat making a nice point about Osse101's ammo count. Without charge beam, he's probably going to just have to assume he's good on ammo. He's probably going to want to grab missile packs if he sees them. And 5.6 fairy. This is actually a good check by Hitaka. I like this play. I think this is like one of the further down logic things he can do after getting the 2 5.6 crystals. And they were both available, you know, deeper in the logic, but kind of relatively early. Go mode -3, you kind of do expect to find something here. But yeah, there is exactly 1 bow in this game, and it is exactly at the top right of Ship Power Bomb's location in Super Metroid, which, if I'm counting things correctly, is one of 3 item locations in Super Metroid that Hitaka has not yet checked. I'm not 100% sure if he's checked X-Ray, actually. Do you remember?
I don't believe he did either, to be honest.
Okay, so he might be at 96% in Super Metroid right now. But I can't think of any other skips, and those are all slow checks.
Oh, no. Oh, where are you going, Hitaka?
Probably Swamp.
Oh, no, he's not. He's going where I didn't want him to go, and that's Pod Eastern. Oh.
Yeah.
So granted,
it's okay. He can get his Ice Rod. And so that could drive him to Turtle Rock.
Granted, Osse101 made this play too earlier with Eastern, but he did have the bow benefit for Pod routing both Eastern Pod. Just really unfortunate. I mean, after this, he doesn't find what he needs. He's looking for 3 items, so Pod Eastern does make a lot of sense. He's gonna end up finding one, which is the ice rod, but then he's gonna find camfly and bombs. I think that's what's gonna put him back on that ship he played, because then he's gonna realize how early that camfly was in logic, and he's probably gonna beeline to it. Because from him, I honestly would feel like the seed's just playing really awkwardly. Like I'm still missing 3 items at 215. That's super awkward. It's hard to explain unless you have the experience, but it's really, really weird to go through that feeling.
Yeah, like at some point you feel like things are going well, and then you just start to feel uneasy, and you're thinking, I've missed something, and it led to something.
Yeah.
And I've been playing around some piece of the logic, and you just don't know what that is. And Speed Booster did put that location in logic, but just getting that hard can fly from bombs might trip something in his mind. And I think you're right about that. I think that there's a chance.
I think that's what gets him over. But again, it's one of those things where it's like a feeling, right? Like you play so much of a randomizer, you kind of know like how you perform, right? So you know what your finish time average is around, you know what your go average time is around, depending on the seed, right? And if the seeds like this not going your way are very rare, and it's even more rare when it's like, I'm still not even close to going 220. Again, we'll just have to see what he does.
Yeah, and I see chat asking about not bow breaking pod. You're go -3, and so all the locations behind that bow break are lower value. But I mean, it's possible. I think if you're go -2, you definitely don't want to do this. Go -3 is defensible, and this is kind of a desperation play. So like, I get it. I also see making this skip here and leaving and saying, I'm going to let the bow show up where it's going to show up. But if the other things are behind bow and then you find bow early on in one of those pendant dungeons, then this worked out really, really great for you. Unfortunately, this is the part of Pod Eastern that he doesn't want to be in. But my worry about the bombs is that ice rod's going to send a stronger signal. And he might end up with fire rod before he finds bow. And then you're looking at like fire rod locations, and all bets are off for bow. Like, bow could very easily be pedestal.
Oh yeah,
in
that's
this seed,
right.
in Hitaka's mind.
Man, yeah.
Like, your pendants are open. If you find your ice rod in Eastern, and then your fire rod in Turtle Rock, like, that's setting off some alarms.
Yeah. You're not really thinking about pedestal though a lot in combo. I mean, it could enter your head if you get early booked to scout it, or if you're around Skullwoods, but it really comes into play more or less when you kind of connect the dots and you're like, I've done like 2 pendant dungeons, I have 1 available, what's my next play? That's when it really becomes like strengthening your head. And you're right, I think Hitaka might be thinking about that as well, just because he doesn't have that bow yet.
Yeah, I mean, Pod Eastern or crystals, so you're gonna need that bow. But more alarmingly, that bow, can be pretty much anywhere. I wouldn't put, the nail in Hitaka's coffin just yet on this, though. There are ways for him to find his way back to bow. Criteria power bombs could be on his radar still. And when he mirrors to Eastern, I think that'll be a good signal for how he's feeling about it once he finds those morph bombs. But in this head-to-head, I mean, he's half an hour behind, probably. But in the 7-way race, he might be just fine. Other players might be experiencing kind of comparable struggles.
So I'm wondering where like Osse's ammo count is right now. Like you mentioned earlier that he's gonna want to run in missile packs. That's a granted. just because.
Yeah.
But he doesn't have ice either right now, so unless he can handle the 3-tap Zeb skip, which I'm going to assume Osse can, just because his stutter's pretty good.
That's a really hard stutter 3 to commit to, though. I don't know if he knows. I don't know if he knows speed Zeb skip. Honestly, I'm leaning no, without any justification for it. Like, he's fully capable of doing it.
Yeah.
I just have never seen him go for it in a race.
Like, that might be an unfortunate side story for Osse's. Like, he needs to find that charge then, right? And that's in, like, no man's land. He's never checking that powder. Is not near any crystals he needs to go to, anything like that. And he already has all 7 crystals done. He's just finishing off, was it really here? He's probably going to be heading GT or G4. I imagine GT, again, because of his ammo situation. He's hoping to find, like, ice in a GT.
Yeah, we might see a backdoor lower Norfair exit to Meyer area, and a reset to ship for refill to check in on the ammo count.
That would be the best play for sure. Just because, again, I don't know if he tracks his ammo. I know I always do now, just because of these scenarios. But if he isn't, he's definitely gonna want to reset the ship to make sure his counts are good. But if he doesn't know speed Zeb, he needs a lot of ammo. Like, it's crazy how much he needs. It's
that's why I was saying missile packs even over supers, because like missiling the Zebs, taking the glass out, and then going and taking the refill might be a cleaner route. And Hitaka is about to get his big key, and he's going to go get his ice rod. He has his morph bombs. We'll see how he feels about this.
Yeah.
We want him to go back to landing site before he goes to Turtle Rock. That's the binary thing here. Now, we also want him to do those things, both of them, before he goes independent dungeons. That's a little less likely. Oh, some tugs, and we'll see if this is Death Mountain. It was not the hard reset. But this might be that play to go get that fire rod. And I see in chat, Speed Gaming 1 must have had some sort of reaction to fire rod plus flute. It sounds like someone else has made that play.
Yeah, I'm actually keeping an eye on the other race now too as well, just as a side to see how this one's developed. So we won't really broadcast where the other runners are. We are going to focus on this race, but when these runners do dot down, we will be kind of announcing it for you guys as well.
Yeah, so I think, talking about finish times in the race channel, fine, but in case some folks want to go watch the other broadcast after this who aren't watching it concurrently, we'll try and not talk too much about what's going on over there. Just finishes, as they're relevant to this race.
And Hitaka is indeed opening up TR.
So this is...
Oh man, so he's gonna full clear TR at this point too. He's gonna do mimics and everything, and then he's gonna be like, "Oh my god, Bo's here," and then it's not. I can't wait, dude.
This Bo, like, it's had me worried since Osse found it. I was like, oh god, that's like potentially very bad for Hitaka, and this is gonna be a tough one. But we'll see how it works out.
It is kind of funny though, just in the grand scheme of locations available, like Hitaka's Go is like right there. It's so free. He just has to connect the dots and go there.
Yeah, the problem is he did exactly what I worry that I would have done with already having Speed Booster, is he took the signal to be the ice rod from Eastern and not the bombs. And so that could really gloss over that can fly. Because again, he's got, I think at most 4 locations left in Super Metroid. And they're all crappy. Like, they're not good spots.
I mean, if I was in his shoes, I probably would have taken the Campfly, but I imagine, I don't know, it's really tough to mitigate this route. Like, the route's been very weird for him, but would I go to TR right after I tried it? Probably not. I might even dip Dependence. I don't know. It's a tough call. It's such a weird route.
Yeah, especially because he had Hookshot Cave left. I like going up here and getting it out of the way, because he never had done Hookshot Cave. And so I think that added value to this Turtle Rock play that's going to work out potentially really well for him, but potentially really, really badly. And so we're in like this weird like Schrodinger's disaster state for Hitaka, where we just need to see what he does with this information. Because he could get Bo very quickly, but he could also do all of A Link to the Past looking for Bo. Thankfully, he can't go into Ganon's Tower looking for it, but that's not much solace. And there it is, thinking about it. And he didn't mirror out immediately, so I don't know what he's doing. I don't think he knows what he's doing.
Now he picked up on it. Okay, good.
Okay, yeah, he got the read. He's gonna full clear Turtle Rock. That's weird, like the shock of finding an item like that in a location like that sometimes just like completely shuts down your brain. You're like, okay, how do I respond? Like, what's the coherent plan to make this work? Because like I think in his mind it's more likely that he runs into Bo here.
Yeah, so at this point, like, Hitaka is 1 item away from Go. It is just the bow. But, yeah. What would you rather have? Go mode bow or go mode fire rod?
Go mode fire rod, 100%.
I think so too, yeah.
It's not even close. Like, go mode bow is really bad. Especially because he's already bow broken pod. Like, now he's like, okay, not only am I on this bow scavenger hunt, where like everything except for those crystal dungeons, so like Ped is open. Now, if Eastern and Pod are a crystal pendant split, it becomes a little closer. And it depends what's behind Bow and what's behind Fire Rod, but like Go Mode Bow is just a big ol' sack of poop. Meanwhile, Osse is into GT. If you like to guess numbers, you can do it. We're not going to do any sort of official guessing game because of the nature of this race being split across channels.
Nah,
but
we're not some low rent randomizer. This is SMZ3, so
I know. I don't know how that stupid game is carried over into this randomizer, but yeah. people have fun with it, and so if you like guessing numbers, go for it. There's our mushroom. All right, so now he has real powder and fake powder. And wow, okay.
Free as heck silvers.
Yeah, it was I mean, Ether was right by boots. So, I mean, effectively boots were going to be required for everyone, whether Desert was boots locked or not.
It's all getting that flute. Yeah, he's not happy. That's great.
Yeah, I mean, if you're Hitaka, you feel so bad about what has just gone down in this seed. Like, even though you're probably not the last person to that fire rod. Like, that fire rod could very easily be like a last location type item. You're just not happy about what's going on with that bow situation. Because he's not going to find it on laser. And okay, so I guess Desert Chat saying was not or boots locked, but I mean the boots were free by Meyer or by Ether, which locked Meyer. So everyone is going to assume that everyone has boots, and so everyone's going to assume that everyone has silvers.
Oh, that is so good for Aussie. That is so good for him.
Wow, what a good GT.
Well, that's 12 super save now on his count that he needs. That's so good.
Yeah, plus a faster Metroids 1 through 4. And like it's Zeb Skip, it's fast Metroids. That was probably a bigger time save than Silver's. Just in all honesty. It's close though.
By far. Like not only that, but again, bending or pending on where Aussie's ammo count is, sorry. That ice is giving me massive for him. He's so relieved that.
Yeah, the ammo count's really big, but thinking about just the time save of actually executing the rooms. I mean, those silvers are saving time here on Ice Armos as well. And 2 supers, at least, in the past handful of checks. And there it is. We might have all of the reserve tanks. We might have full health for Aussie. We'll see when he menus. He'll probably switch off Screw Attack to do sort of a traditional Zeb skip. I don't know that he's comfortable with downback Zeb. So we'll watch and we'll see if he did find all of the Super Metroid tanks and collect them all. This Gibdo, though, is...
Yeah, he's getting bullied right now by this Gibdo.
Real strong. But, I mean, you're in GT. You've got all the Super Metroid bosses done. You haven't seen a single dot done. Like, you're cozy right now if you're Aussie.
Oh, absolutely. He knows like that fire rod spot, and that was his go. He knows he's good.
Yeah. This is
a thing.
Unfortunate for Hitaka. This is the swamp play. And this is gonna
be like,
makes
so much sense too, yeah.
Garbage deluxe swamp. This is the play to make. It's just it's gonna be
garbage deluxe swamp. That's perfect because we know there's nothing here. There's nothing Hitaka wants in here. There's no ice, there's no charge. He already has charge. There's no silvers. There's nothing that's gonna balance off that time commitment for swamp. Like if he hit like say ice and silvers here in swamp, like he's getting back most of his time committed to it. But now it's like here's 6.5 minutes. Just like here, go take it. It's free, literally.
Yeah, and like he's gonna go do ice. He's gonna do skull. He's going to pull head. Like that's.
Oh yeah, now he can too. Oh no. Well, he has both items, I think, in skull. But yeah,
he has both. But he's gonna just kill Moth, Mirror, and pull. Like there's an item location left there, and then he's going to turn in Green Pendant, and then he's going to like see dot duns. And it's not going to feel good.
Yeah, he's going to feel real.
Osse is gonna be into his gauntlet here very soon, but I'm sure he'll execute fine. Wow, nice Ganon Ball Z there. I've not learned the 32 patterns, but like, I guess Osse learned his patterns there. Yeah, for anyone who's splitting their time between this stream and the other stream, if you have the audio on here right now, Hitaka is missing his bow at Criteria Power Bombs, and we have no idea when he's going to get back to it. Osse is in great shape and looking like, I mean, if I had to guess, he's probably competitive for first place overall, even out of like all 7 runners. Just the way he ended up playing the seed with some of the bad locations, the rate at which he found them, and corrected what could have been mistakes in his routing, paid off really, really well for him.
It's not just that. I mean, again, in that it's a 7-way tiebreak where 6 people advance. You normally feel really cozy in this race, but this seed has been very abnormal. Like it's very kind of latchkey how the item placement worked. And I mean, Osse's his time's gonna be really good here for the seed. And
yeah,
once he got duns, I think it's gonna make a lot of guys sweat in this race. Like for sure.
Yeah. I mean, Osse's a very, very good runner of this game. I mean, obviously. I think he top 4'd the last 1v1. And I think only lost to Elm.
That's why I said.
Yeah,
that's why I said Azur and Osse are like the top 2 runners 1v1 right now. Like that actively 1v1. I'd obviously add Wild as first, but he doesn't competitively run.
Yeah.
Right? So, but
I'd put Andy in that scrum as well. Like, yeah, Osse and Andy for me are very competitive.
He'd be my 3rd, right, competitive, but I mean, again, they're just so strong at both games, all 3 of them. I mean, Osse, just how he kind of works around the C2 really benefits him, I find.
Yeah,
whereas
I mean,
Andy and Azur, more or less, they kind of work around their mechanics and let that do the talking.
Yeah, I kind of wish that Lexo was still playing.
Yeah, he would be my first. He would have been my top choice too. That's another one. Like if he was active, he'd probably be duking it out with Wild, but it is what it is, right? So still have a really strong field.
Oh yeah, I mean, any of those runners could win any race, and that's, I mean, I'd say that of pretty much the top 10 runners in the community, honestly, is like anyone can beat anyone on any day. Just because it is high variance, and like Osse found the items first in this one. He found them at a very good rate and played very well.
Yeah.
And so he's going to be rewarded with a very good time. He's still looking like he could claw that 2-4x out of this, which wouldn't surprise me. He did lose a little bit of time checking some extra items. The big key being in Tile Room was pretty bad for him, time-wise. But like he can't think he's losing time on other runners. Like he knows he's in fine shape. But just in a completion time sense, it didn't help his completion time. But I think 2-4x is still live.
Yeah, I was thinking more like a 251, 252, right? But it could be close to 2-4x. I was gonna say not die.
He's gonna use that fairy.
Yeah.
He tossed that bottle in. Gotta use it sometime.
Very, very respectful time. I would expect, honestly, I'm running this seed, I'd be happy with like a 3-1x just because again, there's so many trolls that could have got you here.
Yeah, a mid 3-1x is probably what I would consider kind of the expectation time, and so he's going to be a solid 20 to 25 minutes ahead of that.
That's crazy, dude.
That's a pretty sick run.
It does, like, you brought his name up. It does remind me of Lexo. Like, this guy, just as a quick history lesson, he was like the first guy to really attack SMZ3 times and keep bringing it lower and lower. And then Wild started doing it, and then Hitaka was in there, Andy was in there, kind of thing. But he was like the first guy that was like, okay, I'm starting to get to like 240s, and we were like just barely getting sub 3s. So
yeah, I remember early Discord posts from Lexo were just like, hey, I got this time, someone come race me.
Yeah,
and his times were like 20-25 minutes better than whatever I was running at that point in time.
Yeah, same. That was like
and like, yeah, I mean, he was always a blast to race. He just, you know, kind of moved past it. It's a long run.
Yeah. But I remember like getting my first like sub 3, I was so happy. And then he posted it like an hour later. He's like, here's this nice 248. I was like, really, dude?
Yeah, but G's in chat for Osse has finished Ganon as Hitaka has made the preordained trip into Ice Palace. Like, none of this is shocking that Hitaka's doing. He's going to do this. He might go turn in the green pendant immediately and see if it's green pendant bow, but more likely than not, he's going to go follow it up with Skull either way he goes, and kill Moth, mirror check ped, and then be in a no man's land of I just did 3 pendant dungeons and found absolute nothing in them. And we'll see what he does from there. I think his ped check will be coming up roughly with Osse finishing. And so that's going to be like the Salt Deluxe.
Yeah.
It feels real bad when you're looking for go mode and you've been like down the rabbit hole and found nothing. And then you see that dot done. And like, especially in a tiebreaker race like this, then you think, oh god, I might be in last.
So, by the way, Osse's ammo count, I don't know if you mentioned it, is well enough with 110 missiles and 60 supers. Essentially 90 supers worth. Quick and easy math. Like, more like 95, but we're in there. One thing to kind of note for Hitaka as well, your friend, not mine, Shack Tool is still available for Hitaka.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
Shack Tool's not anyone's friend at this point, but he does have plasma.
He gets plasma out of it, but I mean, just to remind you guys, is that he still has other plays. And I know he willingly skipped that because he was obviously in Meridia. You're thinking Shack Tool. I fear at this point he might have just straight up forgot about Ship Heaves. Like, there's no way he didn't do it by now without forgetting it.
I mean, I'm gonna sound like a broken record, but like Ship Peeps is a very forgettable location if you don't check it early, like when you get access to it. And it bit me in a race that I did the other day against Barnage, who I regret did not enter this tournament. Good runner, but you know, in the post race we were chatting, and I was like, "So did you ever find flute?" He's like, "Yeah, I had flute forever. It was at Criteria PBs," and like, it wasn't even on my radar. I like, all the color must have left my face. I was just like, I did this seed, and I'm thinking, how different is my routing if I have flute? And like, it would have saved me like 4.5 minutes.
Yeah.
But like, if it was anything more important than flute, I was just dead. And that's what I worry about for Hitaka.
I also have to admit, like, going into this 1v1, I was not expecting either of our runners here to be in this situation too. So it is quite unfortunate to see, but you know, Hitaka's still a strong runner. He's still got some excellent mechanics behind him, so we'll see how this kind of works out. And Osse getting the nice baby skip here. I think that was about a 5 jump baby skip. It's pretty solid.
I thought it was a 7, but I mean, still a clean skip. It's gonna save time. It was,
yeah.
Either way, not gonna, you know, split hairs over how many jumps that skip was. It was a clean skip.
Let's barter. It was 6. We'll just meet in the middle.
Meeting in the middle is for people who suspect they might be wrong, so I'm gonna decline.
Well, I mean, I can make a joke about killing Shaq and not killing Shaq there either, but I'm not gonna do it.
Nah,
I mean,
I'm just
okay,
guys,
ribbing
we'll
just
we'll go
okay.
with 6.
No, we're gonna go there because you want to go there, okay? I mean, there's two kind of players in Super Metroid. There's like the people that assert their dominance over the local ecosystem, and then there's wusses, okay? So I wonder which one you fall under there, Michael. I know what one I do. I'm the Alpha Samus. I just kind of show that Shaq who's boss.
You know, I don't view it this way. I think that the animals are best left to their own and not interfered with. Samus is an observer in an ecosystem.
You see what I'm talking about, guys?
She's got a space pirate scourge to exterminate. And Shaq, I mean, space pirate machinery maybe, but I think Shaq might be indigenous.
Oh my god. See, this is what I'm talking about, guys. Also, what was that catch up on the top right corner? That was great.
That was pretty solid catch up. Osse also, with all those E-tanks, has to drain himself so much.
He was thinking stand up too, and then he was like, whoops. Oh, did he turn off Varia there?
He did turn off Varia.
Okay,
but he decided not to go for stand up, and you know, I like that decision by him. Fully capable of doing stand up, had set it up, had the option, and then was just looking at it like, no one's not done yet. My time is so good. Like, I'm not even gonna risk it. There's that green pendant turn in, and we are gonna see a flute to 3 here. No, save and quit. Interesting. So the ped play is not save and quit to sanctuary. He had never activated flute. Okay. Sorry, I forgot Hitaka had not activated his flute.
Why is he going for now though?
This is the ped play.
Oh yeah, that's right.
This is go kill Moth, mirror to ped. And this is the logical conclusion of this route. Like, this is what he had to like double down on, and he's gonna see this not done like right when he kills Moth.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. That's terrible, dude.
It's gonna be a disaster. And like, shucks.
Oh man, dude.
Yeah, Sylphid making a good point about stand-up without charge. We were just talking about stand-up glitch like it was something. All Osse could have done is save like a second and a half at most with baby positioning for the onion rings. But even that's like pretty tough and highly variable. But yeah, Hitaka is still on the quest for Bo. Bo is in Super Metroid. It's not in A Link to the Past. And it's at a very forgettable spot right by the ship. And we just need to like throw our Alu Believes or Siri Prays or Bless RNGs or whatever pray emote you've got in chat for Hitaka to like get him back on the right path. We need to like will him along, give energy.
Yeah. Just the ultimate bamboozle for him right now.
And Osse getting his Moonfall here in the Leodox room. And it'll be really close. Oh, now Moth is not going to be dead in time for the dot done. Dot done's coming before Moth is dead, but like he's committed to the play. Like you just have to keep your head down and keep grinding. And you can even see it in Hitaka's play. Like Moth sucks, but like it's gonna be a little more.
Oh my god, the timing! Yeah. Oh my god!
All right, there it is. Yeah, Osse has done finished in first place with an official SRL time of 2 hours, 49 minutes, 53 seconds. Did get that sub 250 and did finish first overall. I've been told that our 7th off-stream runner's time will be posted when that player would have finished. And so GG's in chat for Osse. Killer run.
Yeah, first place for him. That's great, dude. Again, like I'm not surprised we're seeing first out of Aussie, just because again I rated him so high for so long. But you know what? Like for given the C to be that adverse and get a sub 250 that's great.
Yeah, and Hitaka saw the dot done, went pulled ped, got missiles, and resets to Super Metroid immediately.
Oh, I know.
So this could
exactly
be it.
where he's going. He knows.
Does he? I don't know. I hope he knows.
He knows.
Oh yeah, this is it. This is the play. So if you want quality Schadenfreude right now, watch Hitaka's screen. It's painful, and I'm sorry this happened to him.
I can't watch.
It's not gonna be pretty.
Oh, there it is.
Oh,
yeah, there it is.
God, it hurts.
So mad.
That was a 5 super bow acquisition.
You know what? I've been in that position so many times, so I can, I'm not gonna shy away to say that's kind of funny, but I've been there, man. You've been there. We've all been there. It sucks.
Every runner of this game who's done more than a handful of seeds has been there. He got it fast, and he's on track. I think he's in an okay position. I think he will be okay. But that was pretty painful. He's going to be, making the play right to finish up. Didn't activate the flute, so is going to take the swamp portal.
Yeah, I don't blame him. He shouldn't be, but he should also maybe be going for the flute 5 portal anyways. I think it's a little faster, but it doesn't really at this point.
He never activated the flute, I don't think, though.
Yeah,
so.
but he can still dash to 5. Like, you can dash that warp.
Oh, dash to 5. Yeah, okay. Yeah, it's very, very close whether dash to 4 or dash to 5 is faster. I think from the parlor portal, probably dash to 5, but... But yeah, Hitaka is going to be playing with the nerves. Because there's been 1 dot done, but right now there have not been 2. So Osse was out in front by at least 3 minutes here. And we'll call them as they come in. And speaking, I think we've been joined by Osse. So GG, Osse. Very nice run.
Hello. Thank you.
Yeah, so how comfortable, how cozy were you feeling?
So I was feeling pretty down, pretty behind. I got the early bombs, and they opened up a lot for me. I got the bow, that didn't do anything. But I had Norfair access, but it was slow Norfair access. And it just delayed me getting high jump and speed. And so I felt behind in that sense. And then Fire Rod just meant I wasn't last after finding that.
Yeah, I think finding Fire Rod in like 2.0x go mode with Quake being upper wreck ship and Mirror being in Croc area behind, like, and then leading to Flute, Hookshot being on Death Mountain, all the things kind of coming together like that. I can't think you get through Turtle Rock and don't feel just amazing.
Yeah. I was expecting Andy to still beat me. Because
Andy's pretty good.
Yeah, he's pretty good. But I'd expect him to make the Turtle Rock dip and find everything up there. And already have everything else up till then.
Yeah, I don't know with what time Andy finished, but word on the street from chat was something to the effect of Andy reporting that he last location Fire Rod. So, yeah, we'll see what that means in the context of his finish time as times come up. As of now, no second place here at 2 hours and 55 minutes. So you won by a substantial margin, even with a 217 item check. So nice first place.
Yeah. So, like, I could see going into Turtle Rock, finding your Fire Rod, but there was also distractions there. It had the hook shot, the boots, and there's something else. It'll lead you away.
Yeah, which that's kind of what happened with Hitaka was he got speed, but he also had gravity, and he did wreck ship pretty early. And so he went down Red Tower and left the bow at Crateria Power Bombs because he hadn't done Eastern to get his bombs. And so speed opened that location. And then very late, he went bowless into Eastern, got his bombs in his Ice Rod, and then chased the Ice Rod to Turtle Rock rather than chasing the bombs to Crateria Peeps, which made sense. He didn't have Space Jump, didn't have Can Fly, but had already kind of gotten that location in logic from speed, but just never checked and found bow. And then got his Fire Rod and went and pulled Pedestal. And still didn't have bow. And pulled Ped right around when you finished.
Yeah. With the delay, I have been watching the end of the race. Well, my end of the race.
Yeah. Yeah, makes some sense. Wasn't sure if you were tuned in or not. Was kind of assuming not, but yeah, he finally got his bow as you saw, and he's on track. I think he'll be okay, but we'll have to see how things kind of fall into place.
So I wanted
Hitaka's a very good player.
I wanted to comment on the Fire Rod location.
Yeah.
I think the last time I had Fire Rod in Turtle Rock was when the both of you were commentating my race.
Oh my! I don't even remember which race that was.
It's one of the weeklies.
Wow, one of the weeklies that we did. Okay, that.
Oh, I think it was
that
the
makes
one
sense.
where we bailed to commentate it. I think that's what it was.
Like right before the start of the 2v2.
Yeah.
I think that was a lot of fun, or like really early in the 2v2.
Yeah, that's something that immediately came to mind when I saw it there.
Oh, that's pretty hilarious. We weren't sure. Like when we saw the small key at Chomps, we were just like, okay, thanks, game.
That's what I was thinking too.
Going for bottom right Armos. Going for a nice 20 arrow Armos kill. You went for the 19. No one's done the 18 on stream here yet. But that does get him his full suite of pendants and crystals and Super Metroid bosses. 14 for 14. So I think I'm feeling good about Hitaka's chances at this point, honestly. And yeah, 258 coming up on 259. Still no other .dones. That's crazy, winning by like 10 minutes in a 7-way race, but getting to Turtle Rock that early definitely helped. And not missing on any big items. We're worried about Blue Bryn and then also Gravity to Speed in Wrecked Ship for you. But you got there and you cleaned those up pretty fast. So were you just looking to be really completionist in routing and just be sure you didn't leave anything behind because it's a 7-way, or kind of what was your philosophy coming into this one?
So I was trying to follow the logic, I guess. Actually, I had a stranger early game, where I went straight to Super Metroid. So that was a little weird. But after that Metroid dip, I went back to my standard early game, where I clear out everything, just to unlock more spots, like with bombs that I found.
Makes a lot of sense.
I did my normal green Bryn down to grade. And then I just cleared everything that was open. Avoided pod. I'm not sure I had the hammer at the time. And then just did blue and wreck ship because that's what I had opened.
I mean, makes sense. They're item dense locations, and then they delivered some big items. One of the things I found really interesting was when you were doing Norfair, resetting the powder to go back and get it later. That decision wasn't obvious to me. What were you thinking about there?
Mostly that Criteria had a ton of items I hadn't checked yet, and I hadn't gotten anything off of Varia yet, so there was a chance that powder led to something. But I more wanted to check the Criteria items, and I can come back later for it.
Yeah, I mean, Lower Norfair wasn't yet in logic, but was accessible, and so it's not hard to grab that either on your way down or on your way back from Lower Norfair. So like it made some sense. It definitely was not. I was almost worried for a second about like hardware, like almost like a power outage or power surge or something resetting your game when that reset happened at first.
Yeah.
Like it was just so out of the blue for me. But I can say now Superman Taylor finished in second place with a 3:01:33. The first of our two runners through. GG to Superman Taylor. Congrats to him as well.
You're saying the bat had charge?
Yeah. The powder led to charge beam.
Yeah, I would have liked to have that, but I didn't really have any reason to go back to Kakariko until go mode.
Yeah, I mean, once you found the fire rod, and yeah, Hitaka leaving some bombs, seeing that second dot done, makes some sense. But yeah, like once you found fire rod, you're not going back to Kakariko. Like you're not going to get to Magic Bat. You're just going to clean up GT and see what ammo you find, and if it's good enough, it's good enough. And then Silver's, but more importantly, Ice Beam in GT. Like Ice Beam is worth so much ammo when you're chargeless. Are you comfortable with Speed Zeb skip, or no?
No, but I can do it. Like in a race setting, I can do it.
Okay, fair. I don't think I'd ever seen you go for it in a race setting, and so I wasn't certain. I mean, I know you're obviously capable. You did, the nice Main Street Stutter 3, which I think is about equally tight with Speed Zeb. It might be a little bit more generous, but
it's the door transition that gets me.
Oh yeah, that door transition's rough. Like getting the 3-tap through the door. I'm real bad at Speed Zeb. Like I've done it, but I can't do it in a race condition.
Yeah, I guess going into Lower Norfair in go mode, like I was trying to count my ammo, and I felt I was around 40 supers and I don't know, 60, 70 missiles without ice. So that's why I was looking for ammo and didn't really want to rely on GT.
Yeah, that made a lot of sense, and we spent a little bit of time talking about that. But then the GT Big Key actually turned out to be in such a spot that it actually worked out pretty well for you, just in terms of you had to check a lot of locations and found some extra super packs.
Yeah.
Yeah, Hitaka is journeying through GT. Gets that Book of Medora, but no big key. Here comes that tile room play, and 306 and still only 2 finishers, so things are moving along nicely. I'm feeling okay for Hitaka. I got my fingers crossed for him. I think he'll make it. Were there any other things that you wanted to point out particularly about the seed? Otherwise, I mean, I don't have too many other questions I wanted to ask, but you're more than welcome to chill and just chime in.
I don't know. I noticed that you could have Mit's Dark World access or Hammer Glove.
Yeah, that had us a little worried actually for you about the hammer location, but you did get back to Blue Bryn, because it's so item dense to do some of those checks, and you just weren't leaving things behind. So that worked out really well for you because you could have gone pretty far through Dark World without that.
Yeah, but it actually felt pretty bad finding the hammer because it opens a lot more spots than the Mit does. The Mit's only gives you Dark World, but the hammer gives you actual checks within Dark World. And I wanted to get to Pod at the time, but didn't have a way there. So there's a lot of just feeling like my route wasn't working out.
Yeah, I mean, it felt like things were really, competitive between you and Hitaka, with him just missing the bow and, there being a lot of things left to check. And then, Death Mountain really delivered for you, and, you basically kind of fell into all the remaining pieces with the in-one-go Hera check into Death Mountain, into getting the Fire Rod and TR. So I figure up until then it was kind of a bit of a sweat.
Yep, it was. Yeah, I'll be watching it back, see how it plays out differently without the item set that I had.
Yeah, there was a lot of really early divergence because Hitaka had early gravity and speed, and you had early mitts. And then Hitaka had the hammer for Dark World access, and got the full Dark World access suite really before going over and checking any of it. And so it was, even on just the 2 screens that we were watching, just so very different between you guys. It was very interesting. I do encourage you to watch it back.
Yeah, that's about all I gotta say about this. I'll let Hitaka and you guys finish up.
Well, thank you for coming by to chat, and GG again. Really nice race. Really was a treat to watch, and good luck in the top 8 bracket. I'll be looking forward to seeing, how the seeds randomize and who you get to play coming up in the next, hopefully, multiple rounds.
Yeah. Not that Solsky first match.
Yeah. Solsky is one of the scarier runners left. Yourself as well. And I'm allowed to say now that Andy finished with a time of 3:09:39, so Andy's also going to be in there. He's a pretty scary dude.
AKA Mr. X, the mystery runner
Yep.
for the guy. But yeah, he's now 3rd, so GG's to him. He's going to make it in.
Yeah, which I didn't have too many worries about a lot of you folks missing out on the brackets in this tiebreaker format, but it can always go kind of either way. Like you forget one location, like Hitaka with the bow, and it turns into a sweat. And as we've got, 3 of the 7 finished, there are 3 spots left with 4 runners. So the runners who are still going are gonna be starting to sweat it out a little bit. Like it's turning into make or break time.
So yeah, at this point, there's only 4 spots open. So, I'm not hating on Hitaka's chances. He's got a pretty good chance of making the top 4 out of that. But again, I'm pretty sure he's gonna be sweating until he done at this point.
Oh yeah, I mean you do 3 meaningless pendant dungeons and pulped, and your go mode was right by landing site. I mean, no, you sweat the entire rest of the seed. But Hitaka is about to drop into the pyramid here. Only 3 runners have finished. No 4th finisher yet. So, looking at it with how the runners have spaced out so far, we had basically a 250, a 3 hour, and basically a 310. So 10 minutes apart for each of them, first, second, and third. You're kind of hoping that fourth doesn't come in for maybe another 10 minutes. At absolute worst, Hitaka's, if not just nervous, probably feeling a little salty about how this one shook out. But like we said, that can be anyone, any race.
Yeah, I doubt there is a lack of rage on his side. Again, it's so close to your go mode, and you would have been done so much sooner with that earlier bow. And he would have removed away the double dip on Eastern Pod. Like he would have been super close to Osse actually, because he would have saved on the Eastern play. It's just that one decision, right? Not to go there, but it is what it is. It's kind of odd though too. Like I feel like he might have forgotten it or said no, I'll go back later, and he just never routed it in, because as we saw, he was routing super safe, and for him to put that off for so long was kind of off-putting. But
yeah, I think it was just that every time he found an item that opened that location, he immediately found another item that opened another more compelling location. And so I get it. Like you found bombs, you also found Ice Rod, which doesn't necessarily open Turtle Rock, but it does point to getting back over. But yeah, G's in chat. I see y'all are on top of it for Hitaka. He'll be running as fast as Samus's legs will carry him over to finish up Torian. No plasma for him, but he does have charge beams. So even with, he will take the ship refill there, but
yeah, with full new beam, he's fine there, honestly.
Yep, and way more than new route E-tanks, so. But yeah, chat point now, Hitaka got that bingo, filled out the tracker. That's pretty clutch. No level 4 sword, unfortunately. But otherwise, I think everything is there.
Well, I mean, if there's any compliment to Hitaka this race, we know the routing didn't work out, but he hundoed, and he's gonna be what, we've only had 3 finishers so far in top 7, so that really speaks volumes to that. So
Yeah,
again,
unless
just a
unless they
compliment.
cluster, like if you get to baby cutscene and aren't seeing another finish,
Yeah,
like you start to feel like, okay, the odds that 3 people are all in Torian in escape right now, pretty good.
yeah, you're gonna assume they're close, but again, like we don't know the times yet and everything like that, but still, he knows they're gonna be close. And again, just to kind of top him back up there, he has played really well. I feel this race.
Oh gosh, yeah. His execution has been, I mean, and we kind of knew this, like having good execution is part of what gave both of these runners kind of that license to be very careful, very thorough, and do a lot of that full clear stuff and those auxiliary checks. And unfortunately, Hitaka's kind of one oversight, what I believe to be an unintentional skip. We'll definitely have to ask him about, I'm sure, if he decides to talk to us, that he'll have some words.
Yeah.
But we'll see how he was thinking about that location. And baby skip coming in. And plasmaless baby skip is lower lag because that shot across the ceiling hits the ripper and stops and doesn't get that side hopper that's on the ceiling. And so jump, I guess it's jump 3 or jump 2 into jump 3 are so different when you don't have plasma. I have a lot of trouble with that skip, and he gets grabbed, but it was a good attempt. Good setup. But yeah, maybe breathing a little easier. Still no 4th place, so three places left to give runners spots in the top 8. So he is just going to be executing as hard as he possibly can, trying to make it through this. And screw attack off. Not going to go for the down back Zeb skip. No judgment there. Down back Zeb skip's dumb.
It's terrible.
Although
It really is.
the past couple nights, shout outs to one of our other tournament participants, unfortunately joining me in the commentary or missing brackets bracket, Zost has been back on Super Metroid Any Percent, and I watched him Zeb skip with baby speed a couple times in the past few nights, and like I didn't even know you could manage that. It's super tight, but like it's possible, and that's super cool.
Yeah, for those that don't know what baby speed is, baby speed basically is like y-axis movement's the exact same, but your x-axis movement is like you're basically suitless in Meridia kind of speed. It's super, super, super slow.
Yeah, it's the movement that you get when you get grabbed by baby, and then have that that door transition. And so baby is no longer on you, but the game never registers that baby unlatches, basically. But Hitaka has made it through Mother Brain too, and it's just lowering his health down to set up to just make it through A-okay. But so we're coming up here on 319, almost 320. And we've passed 319.16, so I can say that HCF Wesker just punched his ticket to brackets 4th place, 319.16 SRL time.
Uh-oh.
So 2 spots remain. GG to Wesker. Will Hitaka make it? I'm also hearing that that Wesker did some interesting things, and so if y'all watched Wesker's race, he might have left some obvious stuff behind. and made it harder on himself, but still finished with a really nice time. So GG to Wesker. I'm not going to spoil it if you haven't watched it. But asking about the 5-0s in this tournament, there are two of them actually. One of them is commentating today, and it's not me, and it's not Wild, and it's not Alu. So it's Solsky. Solsky went 5-0. And
the dream.
So did Stryzer. Stryzer's our other 5-0, so they're both guaranteed in. They're going to be watching this even more closely than anyone else. So after seeing Osse and Hitaka today, and also seeing some of the times come in, how do you feel about the potential top 8 matchups headed your way, Solsky?
I mean, I don't know. I kind of go into the mindset with the tournament that, especially if I'm in brackets, I don't really care who I get. So I just have to kind of face the next challenge ahead of me. And really, it's kind of a golf mentality of just play your game, and you're your worst enemy anyways. So there's metagaming to be had with, like, depending on what runner I'm facing. Like in Osse, my route might change versus a Hitaka, for example. Or my route might change with an Andy, because my route with Andy, we route very similar. So I'd have to find, you know, kind of ways to pick up on some, maybe a little bit of weakness on SM versus Andy's, right? But really, it's just, I got to take it one race at a time, whoever I get. Not going to take anyone lightly, because it is top 8 brackets, and just kind of play my game and see how I do.
I think that's a good philosophy to go in with, especially because it's no longer going to be best of 1. It's now going to be best of 3 with best of 5 finals. Yeah. Like, having that opportunity to showcase why your game got you there through variants of taking a loss. Like, I think that you just, you know, you believe in what brought you there, and you just play your game.
Yeah, I'm just kind of hoping to also shake that chokeski moniker that I seem to be getting with brackets. Like, my last 2 tournaments, I've gone out in the first round of brackets, so really hoping to just kind of shake that in this one.
Dang.
Yeah, like I'll have like super strong.
Humble brags here talking about making brackets in 3 tournaments.
I'll kill Swiss in like whatever in groups, and then all of a sudden it's like, nope, brackets. Yeah, you can't win anymore. But yeah,
Hitaka did just done. So GG's in chat for Hitaka, finishing in 5th place. 1 slot to spare, even 322.43 in SRL. So he did weather the nightmare of 3 empty pendant dungeons into Bow by landing site, and he was lying in wait, ready to join us. Yo, Hitaka, how you doing? GG.
You probably know how I feel.
Yeah, you had 15 minutes to breathe, thank God.
So,
tell us a story.
Okay, so I just finished Wreck Ship, and I was coming out, and I thought, well, I have enough power bombs. I don't need to go do a ship refill. And then by the time I was like halfway down Red Tower, I thought, oh, I could have gotten landing site PBs. Oh well, there's probably nothing there. And then, you know, with the whole rest of the seat open.
So it wasn't a forgot about it.
Stuff. What? Sorry, what?
So it wasn't a forgot about the location. You were aware of it the whole time?
I forgot until I was down the elevator.
Yeah, into Red Tower. Yeah.
And then I remembered, and then I thought, I just kind of shrugged and went on my way, because at that point, because it's not a super bad thing to isolate, because you can just hard reset and boom, you're right there whenever you want. So, but then the seed just like, of course, it was Boa there, and if Boa is the last thing you need, then that means you have access to everything except for like 5 spots. So there was plenty of higher density places to check, like Swamp and Ice. Flippers, by the way, Flippers was garbage, because that opened up so much garbage. I guess it led to Lamp, but other than that, it was just opened up 2 trash pendant dungeons.
Yeah, like Flippers leading to Lamp was like a big solace because it didn't make me personally feel inclined to chase, to see, what was going on, basically. To like chase into swamp or ice, even though Bombos was there.
Yeah. I think it's because by the time I was down to just pendant dungeons, there was like I think I had 4 spots in the Super Metroid left, and they were all pretty slow to check. So I figured I would just do the dungeons were a higher density to do. So I did those first.
Yeah, if you decide to watch this one back, you'll hear us echoing a lot of those same ideas.
So yeah,
like
I probably
everything you did made sense.
I probably could have finished like 20 or 30 minutes earlier. So sorry for ruining the potentially close race.
Oh no, I mean we were happy to be able to commentate this one, the 1v1 quote unquote portion of the free for all, because you and Osse are both obviously highly competent, highly capable runners, very deserving of the spots you've earned in brackets. But like either of you guys could have taken this 1v1 down on any given day. And I honestly felt like it was pretty low percent that either of you would end up missing. And then when you skipped the bow for so long, we were just thinking, okay, it's getting a little Monka S in here. But it was good to see you kind of patch it together. Nice item collection rate of 246.
Yeah.
Oh,
Jesus. That 322 on a 246 seed is really, really good, actually. Like, I mean, blind ped everything. Bow broken pod around bow mode, or go mode bow. Like, Jesus.
Yeah. And I felt really good about the fire rod because I dipped here. I could have done pendant dungeons at that point, but I thought since I just found the ice rod, that made dipping TR a lot less potentially stupid because the odds of both rods and Turtle Rock are really small. And
yeah, Sorry,
I
go
wanted
ahead.
to do Hookshot Cave anyway, so I figured I would just dip into Turtle Rock while I was up there. And that worked out. And because of that, I wasn't like super concerned when I found Bow because I figured at least one person would like full clear everything outside Turtle Rock before dipping Turtle Rock for the fire rod. Rods and Turtle Rock usually troll people like that sometimes, so.
Yeah, in a 7-person race, makes a good bit of sense to go that way. And yeah, I mean, 4 locations, all of them were fairly isolated in Super Metroid. Like, everything you did pretty much made sense. I liked following the items that you followed. It kind of sucked that, like, bombs and ice rod were doubled up. Speed and gravity were doubled up kind of in rapid succession. Cane and flippers were clustered together, obviously, in the sand pit. Like, you got things that opened stuff in rapid succession, and so I felt like this was kind of a trap seed that was an easy one to lose track of one of the progression branches.
Yeah, because the progression wasn't linear in this one at all. It was like a web. It just went all over the place all at once.
Yeah, it was super open. You and Osse actually had really divergent early games, where Osse got the mitts but not the hammer and had early Dark World, and didn't get gravity and speed until much later, whereas you had early gravity and speed that like kept you in Super Metroid and got you fine stuff. You got to Varia pretty quickly, which was really good to see. That had to feel good because you had a lot of Super Metroid available, including like 10 tank Upper Norfair Hell runs.
Yeah, there was so much energy earlier in the seed. I got this. I think this is the first time ever I've got all 14 energy tanks.
Yeah, you got all the energy tanks, maybe all the reserves. You filled the tracker minus the 4th sword.
One of the reserves was wrecked ship E-tank, which I reset on, so I didn't have that. And yeah, the sword on Lumberjack obviously was never going to be collected.
That makes a lot of sense. Sword on Lumberjack not getting gotten. So yeah, that was really a fun one, even if it was a bit of a sweat.
And of course, the only item I didn't have was book, so I couldn't check ped before doing Skull Woods, which had no items left in it. So thanks, game.
Yeah, exactly. Like Silvers, Ice, and Book, and Spring Ball all in GT. Thanks, game.
Did anyone ever find Plasma? I don't know if you guys know anything about the 4-way or not, but
Oh, we know where Plasma is.
Oh
Check
yeah.
Tool.
Shack Tool.
Yep.
All right. I thought I was gonna do Shack Tool, maybe, but then when I found Flippers and Kane at the same time, I just thought, no. Mm-mm.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, like your routing decisions made a lot of sense. Each of them individually was consistent and sensible, and I mean, there were a couple things that maybe I would have thought of differently. I was a little confused when you were going to Mire, and I was like, oh yeah, like Mire is a crystal dungeon completely in logic. Like, go get it. Everything that you did made sense. It just was that skip of landing site that really, really, derailed what was going on.
Yeah, when I went to I double dip Lower North to go back to Mire and Desert. At that point, those were the only crystal dungeons I could complete. And that was after I found Space Jump, so that was totally in logic, and so Flute could have been nowhere, could have been in GT, so I figured I was just gonna go do that. Maybe Flute was in Mire, I've seen that before, or so I was just gonna go for the completable crystal dungeons. With speed and Space Jump and all that, it's like a couple minute trip through Norfair, so it wasn't that big a deal, I figured.
Agree 100%. Was there anything else you were thinking about this one? I mean, there was a lot to think about given all of the play.
Where was Bombos? He didn't get Bombos. Was that the one that was in Attic?
Bombos was... Oh gosh.
I know one medallion was above Ocean. I don't remember which one.
That was Quake. That was the one you needed for Turtle Rock. This is tough. I remember where Bombos was. I remember where Ether... Oh, Bombos was Checkerboard. Bombos was Checkerboard because it was right by Mire where you needed Ether and you had the other two. And it was like, come on. Thanks, Seed.
Yeah. Although I didn't have Kane yet, so I wouldn't be able to finish the dungeon anyway.
Exactly, yeah. Felt a little bad that Kane ended up in Meridia and accessible before all the Lower Norfair stuff. But, I mean, Lower Norfair is so linear that I agree with the decision to go and do it rather than go into Meridia. But
yeah, I could have picked either Norfair or Meridia to do first, but I picked Norfair because Meridia sucks and is a mess, and Lower Norfair is very few of the items are out of the way from the main path.
Mm-hmm.
Basically, just like the GT stuff. So, although there was nothing down there at all, so that was. But yeah.
Yeah, makes a lot of sense, honestly. I was a little upset that no one was doing Meridia, especially you, because you had the early gravity and speed, and it seemed like an advantage you can push with, especially with grapple and screw and bombs, and literally everything in Meridia was in logic. So, I mean, having all of those items kind of come together so early in the seed felt like Meridia had to have the thing. But being completionist, just seeing if something's in Lower Norfair, a completely reasonable call.
Yeah, if I would have done Meridia if I hadn't found Varia, but given the choice between the two, I'm pretty much always going to go Norfair first. But yeah, I thought a couple times over the run, oh, maybe I should reset here and go do landing site, but there was just always so much more stuff to do in Link to the Past. I just never got around to it.
That all makes lots of sense, and thankfully it didn't end up ultimately punishing you. Like, this being such a high variance randomizer where, like, I mean, you can get a 219 one day and a 322 the next.
Yeah.
Like, that's just how it goes.
I think that's about it, really, to talk about. You got anything else to ask? Any other questions?
No, but GG, congrats, good luck in brackets, I guess. Is there anyone you want to see or don't want to see in brackets now that the list is mostly settled?
Not really. I mean, I'm happy to play against anyone.
Yeah, I mean, makes sense. You got best of 3 coming up. I'm looking forward to watching it. Should be good. But yeah,
I'm really looking forward to having more than one match, because especially in this randomizer, it can go wildly either way in a single game. So getting some more greater number of games per match is nice.
yeah, I'm so excited to watch some best of 3 format matches in this. I think it's going to be really good. That's what was done with the finals of the last 1v1 tourney, but just having the whole bracket be that way, I think it's going to be really enriching. And I'm seeing from our tracker extraordinaire, thank you for the tracking as Metroid, that also in her role as admin for the tourney, she's going to share that the bracket announcement will be Monday the 14th of January following GDQ, and the bracket will start on Tuesday. Suppose that must be the 15th. So
That's
going to be
right.
looking forward to that.
Oh, baby.
Then we get a week off for GDQ to chill and all that stuff.
Yeah, should be a lot of fun. I'll be looking forward to it.
Yeah, last tournament I lost in the first round to Super Taylor because he got like a 20-minute PB, so yeah, that kind of sucked.
Yeah, he's good though. Super
Yeah, he is.
Taylor.
Yeah,
I mean,
he got
I'm
one second
glad to
today.
see him in brackets. Yeah.
Yeah, he must have beasted this one, so. And good luck, Solsky.
Yeah, I'll see you there.
Yeah, Solsky
game's
Hitaka, calling it now. That would be fun. But yeah, if nothing else, thank you, Hitaka, for coming by. Glad you were able to make it through even with the hardships that you experienced in the seat. It was good to see you, battle it out and make it. So congrats on the spot in top 8.
Thank you.
And I think with that, I'll just thank Ms. Metroid for tracking one more time, and Solsky for commentating with me and putting up with me rolling in just a little late to the start of this. It was a lot of fun. GG to all of our runners who've made top 8. And if things are still going over on Speed Gaming, I'm sure we're going to be throwing the host over there. I'll let you close it out, Solsky.
Bye. Take care, everyone. Have a good one.